Thank you for joining me. It's Legal Matters. We're bringing you the legal matters. As soon as you join us, share the program for us. Different topics today. As it's been circulated around. Share the program for us as soon as you join us. As soon as you join us, you share the program for us. Yes, this song goes for all those who have lost their loved ones. Eva Odro, wherever you are, good morning to you. This song is for you and the family. Share the program for us wherever you are. This is the legal matters from Justice and Law Solicitors, broadcasting through Fire Life Radio. Share the program for us until you can share no more. Yes, as soon as you join us, one share a day, we will keep ignorance away. Education is powerful, but the application of knowledge is the answer to the world solution. Share until you can share no more. That's the way we do it. Promote the mother nation. Promote Ghana. Let's get it everywhere. Yes, that's the way it is. Mr. Ben Osei, courtesy of Mr. Ben Osei. What do you have for you today? The UU settlement scheme and the pre-settlement scheme. An obituary. Let's share the program until we can share no more. Power to the people. This song goes for anyone and everyone that has lost someone dear to them, someone closer to them. Let's use this time to share the program. This is 9924. Let's share the program. As soon as you join us, share the program, share the program, share the program. Let's get everywhere. All the four corners in the world. Yes, let's go viral. Share on your WhatsApp groups, wherever you are. Church groups. Anywhere and everywhere. Let's try and get there today. That's the way it is. The name is David Darker, Justice and Law Solicitors, bringing you live program. Nana Juma, good morning to you, wherever you are. This song, Eva Odro, Elder Odro, this song goes for you. We hope this song here this morning will bring you some peace at this difficult time. What are we going to be talking about today? Yao Ado, good morning to you, and thank you for joining us. Share the program for us. Share until you can share no more. Hoja, good morning to you, wherever you are. Big morning to the Wolof community in the UK. I know that you have all tuned in, watching me live. May the Lord Almighty bless you all. We also know that the Dagomba community, you've also tuned in, watching me live. Yes. We are all gonna die one day. But the question is, whilst we are alive, what is it that we are doing? What do we intend to do to make change? What is going to be our legacy? The only thing guaranteed in life is death. We are gonna die one day. We are gonna die one day. The question therefore is, what will be your legacy? Thank you very much for joining me live on Facebook. My name is David Darko, Justice and Law Solicitors. We are also broadcasting through Fire Live Radio. And once again, it has been possible because God has made it so. Today, I am broadcasting not from the studio, but from home because of the coronavirus. And we are all doing the bit that we can to conquer this devil, this evil disease, or this virus. We all have to do our bit to ensure that we get rid of this virus. However, life goes on, and we still have to bring you the program. And therefore today, we're going to be looking at some interesting area that I believe, that I hope is going to help us big time. And when I talk about interesting area, when I say hope is going to bring us, some changes, and also to educate us in so many different ways, so many different levels. I mean, the topic that we are going to be talking about today is very, very important. And I did send something out during the course of the week, and the questions that I got back, and the interest that people shown, and the concern that I was able to derive from the questions that people put to me, I felt the need to come here today and also talk about it today. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because it seems to me that the message is still not out there. The message is still not out there. And therefore, I have to do the best that I can and bring it to people's attention, and also deliver it so that people are aware what is about to come, what is about to happen, so that we can all take something out of it and do the best that we can to protect and secure ourselves. Because once, once we get to that stage, it may be too late for people to come to the realization that they should have done this or they should have done that. But we are not going to sit there for it to happen, for people to be caught off guard before they realize that maybe they should have done this or they should have done that. So for that reason, today, I believe that it's important that I take my time and talk about this once again. What am I saying? What am I talking about? Because a lot of people are confused. And since I put the post out through all my contact on WhatsApp, the messages, if you like, the inquiries that came to me, I was very, very surprised. And the surprising thing is that one of my clients has been following me, but for some reason she thought that it does not apply to her. She was actually telling people to go and do it, but yet she was sitting down until she got this this message from me through WhatsApp. And what am I talking about? I am talking about the settlement scheme and the pre-settlement scheme. And I'm going to take my time and go through each stage one at a time. And hopefully, I am only hoping the message will actually hit home. The message will be spread to a lot of people so that they don't find themselves in this situation that a lot of people are now facing or finding themselves. So all that I will say is this. As we all know, I think March 2019, back in the day, March 2019, where the decision was made to introduce officially the settlement and the pre-settlement scheme. The settlement and the pre-settlement scheme. And as a result, over the past week or so, we have been banging on and telling people, educating people that there is a need to apply for the pre-settlement scheme or the settlement scheme. The confusion regarding this scheme is that some people are of the view that they've already got what we called the permanent residency card or residency card. And these are likely to be cards that were issued before March 2019. Let's pay attention to this. And I'm going to give description so that people can come to the realization that the card that they may be holding may be the right card come 1st of July 2021. I'm going to take my time and explain all this up to what is about to happen. So therefore, people can then make a call as to whether they will then proceed to make the new application. Many of my clients have contacted me, and I have done it for them, and they are now secured, come what may. And therefore, for me, it's important that I come here today again and explain it, because the message has still not got across. So I will take this opportunity to thank Pastor Owen. I know that he just joined us, and I can see him sharing the program because he cares for his community. So be a care, and care for your community. So for that reason, I will encourage you all. So far, we have had about 77 people who have shared the program. Let's do the best that we can. Let's get to 100 before we start the program. Because today, what we are going to talk about, I think is so important. And it is, vital that we all do the best that we can and share the program to our loved ones so that they can also benefit from it. I will also remind you, if you are in a church group on WhatsApp, all that you have to do is to go to the Facebook. Just go to the cut. If you look at right at the top, you will see the Facebook page that ends with 0674. Just, copy it and go to your group and just paste it there. Because some people struggle with technology, and as a result, they struggle to, if you like, share it to people. So all that I will say to you is, let's do the best that we can. Let's share it to whoever that we care about. Any group that we are in, let's share it as well. If you're in a church group on Facebook, just go and paste it there so that we can all be blessed. We can all be fruitful to our community, to our loved ones, and to people that we care about. It's very important, because what we are going to talk about today, I can guarantee you that you and I, if we don't do something about it today, we are not going to help to get our people, the people that we care about, from bondage that is about to happen. The bondage that people are about to go into from 1st of July 2021. So we are going to be talking about the benefits of applying for settlement scheme and pre-settlement scheme card. And also we'll be talking about the European nationals. If they have already applied, do they need to apply for a card? There has been a lot of confusion. So me, I go take my time and then explain and talk about it with the hope that the message will come across well and people will be able to get a better understanding. I will take this opportunity to also to welcome Mr. Ben Kusi for joining us. I thank you very much for tuning in, and may the Lord Almighty of God be upon you. May the God Almighty bless you in abundance for all your support over the years. I don't know how I can thank you and your family. All that I can say is I salute you and I thank you. Okay, so what else are we going to be talking about today, apart from the settlement and the pre-settlement scheme? We will also be looking at adequate maintenance and how to meet the financial requirement, either bringing your wife from Ghana or perhaps bringing your children from Ghana. I thank God and I can testify to this. This week, the Lord Almighty has been so great. This is a story of a man with 4 children. Because of situation, the man is on benefit in the UK. He came to me last year. He's gone through different lawyers. And as soon as they hear that he's receiving working tax credit, child tax credit, straight away, they don't even listen to his story. This man came to me and I said to him, you know what? There may be a possibility, but we need to sit down. We need to sit down and basically do what we call assessment based on adequate maintenance test. And also he was living in a 2-bedroom. And the whole idea was the 2 bedrooms, bringing 4 children, it is not possible because the place will lead to overcrowding. One of the, big difference between justice and law solicitors and other firms is that we have listening ears. Regardless of how nasty or perhaps how silly your case may sound, we will give you the time of the day. We will listen to what you've got to say, and we'll then have to analyze the information that we have provided, and then we look at the law, do the comparison and apply it and see whether there is a possibility. And I am grateful to the Lord Almighty. I am also grateful for your support all these years. Madam Pamford, good morning to you wherever you are. Cape Coast, I believe you are. I believe that you are enjoying the Twin City. You are enjoying the sunshine, and you are having the time of your life. I believe that very soon we will see you, and our greetings to all those family members in Cape Coast. So basically, we're going to be talking about adequate maintenance test. Adequate maintenance test. This one came to me. We sat down. We looked at his income, including all the benefits that he was receiving. And then we had to sit down and do the calculations. From my calculations that I did, it was so clear that he was able to meet the financial requirement, i.e., to be able to prove to the Home Office that he is in the position to provide for his children, despite the fact that he was receiving state benefit or public funds. So this is a very, very interesting area, because as soon as you hear it, there is that temptation to say that no, you don't qualify, your children will not qualify. But when you have lawyers like justice and law solicitors who will give you the listening ears, who will listen to your story, and then look at the law and apply the law and advise you correctly and properly, then of course there is always hope for everyone. And I am glad to say today that God being so good, last Wednesday, this man and his four children, they have been granted visas to join their father in the United Kingdom, notwithstanding the fact that the man is receiving income support, working tax credit, child tax credit, and so on and so forth. So I felt that there is a need to talk about adequate maintenance today. Those watching us, those listening to us, those representatives, those who are in the field, I think when people come to us, we really need to give them the time of the day. We really need to listen to their stories. Even if the beginning it sounds like it's impossible task, it is only possible if you believe. So all that I say is this: let's all do the best that we can, so that we can help people who deserve it, because there are people out there who actually qualifies. But all that is you have to do as a practitioner is to listen good and look at the law and apply the law. And I believe that through that, we'll be able to help people in the right way. So we'll be looking at adequate maintenance test, whether you are bringing your wife or you are bringing your husband or your children. We'll be looking at that as well. And then we'll be looking at asylum, new plan for immigration. You all know that Priti Patel, our Home Secretary, is been shooting from left, middle, center, and everywhere about how the law is going to be tough, and so on and so forth, and how it's going to crush people traffickers and also people who are claiming asylum. So much stuff has been said, and it's important that we sort of have a look at what is coming, what is about to happen, and we can then also compare asylum rate, whether in fact people claiming asylum, whether it's going up or whether it's going down. Because when it comes to politics, Bob Marley, one of my mentors, he says something: never trust a politician and never allow a politician to do you a favor, because once a politician do you a favor, they will rule you forever. So put this in your mind. Politicians are very, very, very sometimes interesting characters, and sometimes some of the things that they spew is totally different from reality. So it is important that we do what? That we also take all this into consideration. At some point today, we'll be speaking to Mr. Ishan Amway's product and see what they've got to offer. A lot of people are asking me. I had this lady in this week. She said something very interesting. He said, lawyer, when I saw you on Facebook, you look old as compared to seeing you physical, which I was a bit surprised about, because many people tell me that when they see me on Facebook, I look very young. You know, when they come to see me in my office, maybe I look a bit older than when they see me in Facebook. But she says something interesting, which is something different from what I am used to hearing. And all that I say, the secret is Amway product. The secret is Amway product. Because many a times, you know, when we are spending money to buy stuff, unfortunately, as human beings, we take into account economics, how expensive it is. And then before we start looking at how effective it is. But this is the 21st century. We have so many bogus products in the market. And therefore, if you are not careful, you're going to buy so much stuff, but no quality. And therefore, it is important that we also have to consider the quality of what we are buying. An Amway product, if you are talking about quality, I can testify to you today. Now, since I got to know Amway product through Mr. Emmanuel Asian, that's what I've been using. So if you want to know why maybe I look young, I don't know that I look young, but people tell me that all the time. If you want to know the secret, get in touch with Mr. Emmanuel Asian, get Amway product, and you'll be surprised the difference that it will make in your life. Because the product that they sell are organic, no chemicals, and chemicals are killing us. Everything that we are eating, chemicals. When you go to the market, try and mix it up with some organic. You know, get in touch with Mama Boat, all these fruit products. Try and get some to supplement what we are not getting from the main food. Because if you want to grow old, if you want to see your children's children and your children's grandchildren, then of course, you've got to live better, you've got to eat better, and you've got to think better. You know, free the mind, free the soul, free the spirit, and it will give you everlasting life and youthful look. Amway product, Mr. Ishan, at some point, we'll be talking to him. Some of the products that they sell is unbelievable, you know, and we have had the opportunity. We've given so many away, but once again, we cannot give everything away. So sometimes, you know, we do, you know, a bit of questions and answers, and people are able to get it. We send it to them, and so many people have benefited from this. But at the same time, about time that you also invest in your health, you also have to invest in your youth. So today, what are we talking about? We will also be talking about Asda. There has been a case in the Supreme Court, interesting case about Asda. Some employers brought a class action against Asda supermarket on the basis that they are not paying them equally. You know, as we all know, you know, economics, demand and supply, most of the time will determine the price of a good or a price of a service. It's as simple as that. It's about demand and supply. And this is a case that Asda have been arguing that, you know, they cannot pay all workers same wages because they are not doing the same work. So let me start with that before we go to immigration. You know, so Asda, there has been a class action against Asda supermarket. I used to work for Asda back in the days, you know, over 15 years ago, and I know what they are talking about. Because, for example, if you do different hours, you get different pay. And if you work at a different department, you also get different pay. So a class action was brought against Asda supermarket. And the genesis of, and the basis of the case was that those people working in their distribution centers, they were getting more pay than people working on the shop floor. So, those people working on the shop floor within the organization called Asda felt that they are being cheated, they are being discriminated against on the basis that they are not receiving equal pay to those people working on the shop floor. So when I talk about shop floor, I'm talking about the cashiers, I am talking about people working in the deli department, I'm talking about people working in the provision department, people working at the grocery department, people working at the clothing department, home and leisure, people working at, what do you call it, BWS, beer, wines and spirits department, you know, and so on and so forth. So, for example, people working in the distribution center, where, for example, if they are earning £15 per hour, people working on the shop floor, are getting about £9 per hour. So, if you look at the gap, if you look at the difference, you are looking about £6 difference for people working for the same organization. As this argument was that people working in the warehouse, the job that they are doing, or at the distributing centers, the job that they are doing is not the same as someone working in a shop floor, and therefore you cannot make that comparison. So there was a class action. People working inside the store, i.e. the normal today workers, they decided that no, this is a cheat. Asda is cheating them because they should be paid the same amount per hour because they are doing the same job. Then the question is, what is the same job? The same job, you have to look at certain characteristics that constitutes the individual's job description. So, for example, if you are working at the shop floor in Asda, I'm just using this as an analogy so that people can understand. This is back in my days, 15, 20 years ago. This is what we use today. So, if you are working on the shop floor, for example, whenever there is, what do you call it? We get deliveries in, okay? Sometimes you have to leave the shop floor, go to the warehouse, and package the deliveries. And package the deliveries in a chill freezer, or bring it up to the fridge. Arrange them before you come to the shop floor and then display them. You see, so someone is at the distribution center, the person will be doing something similar, you see, because all that they will do, package it to see where it is going. Is it going to Clapham Junction? Is it going to Telford? Where is it going? So all that they do, look at the list, look at the the order that has been placed by a certain department or certain branch, and then all that they have to do, package it, put it in a van, and it gets delivered. So the argument was that what they are doing is not different from someone working on the shop floor. And therefore, on that basis, they brought a class action against Asda Supermarket. And the case came before the Supreme Court of England, and the court at this stage has affirmed the decision by the Employment Tribunal, the Court of Appeal, and so on and so forth. What the court is saying is that the job that is being done at the distribution centers is nearly the same or similar or the same as people working on the shop floor. So on that basis, it's very, very significant. Whilst the court is not saying that they should be paid the same amount on the basis that is equal work equals to equal pay, what the court is saying at this stage is that the work that they are doing amounts to the same, and therefore by implication, Asda have to pay people on the shop floor the same amount. The question therefore is, can I go back and claim for the years that I work with Asda from the 1990s? There is a big question mark. This country, we call something called when I remember I will say, but basically what it is that you cannot go back more than certain years to make a claim. So in my case, it's going to be a breach of contract, or unlawful deduction of wages, or being paid less amount. In that case, it's been more than 6 years, and therefore I will struggle to go and basically make a claim for all those times that I worked for the company, that I was not paid the same amount as those people working in the distributing centers, and therefore it will be difficult for people like I to go back and make a claim. However, I suspect those who have worked within the last 6 years, if as they decide to implement their policy, then you need to watch out the space. You may have a claim against the company. So should that happens, I will come here and give you an update. So that is all that I'm going to say in relation to the class action that was brought against Asda. So it's not only Asda, because it's significant. Because if the court make a final judgment that it is the same, and therefore all those who have worked within certain sectors from different organizations who are doing similar work and they were not paid similar amount of money, they may be able to go back and also make a claim. So this is Asda who has been affected, who has been taken to court. I'm pretty sure that there will be other organizations who may fall within the same category. So if you are watching me, you are listening to me live on Facebook, Justice and Law Solicitors David Darko. Jen, of course, keep the pace, watch this pace, because whenever there's any difference, any update, by all means, we will bring it to you right to your door. Now, the second area that I'm also going to be talking about is relation to coronavirus job retention scheme and also self-employed. Those people working self-employed. As we all know, the scheme has been extended, and therefore from April, the government says that, you know, if it has, the coronavirus had an adverse impact on your self-employment, then by all means you can make a claim to the UK government. The maximum that you can claim is about how much? The maximum that you can claim is about £7,500. That means £2,500 pay each month, £7,500 for 3 months. So what the government is saying is that there is going to be another set of claim, which is effective from April, from 1st of April. So if you are self-employed and you know COVID has had negative effect on your work, on your employment, then by all means you should keep an eye and make your claim accordingly. And for what I can remember, this will cover February, March, and then the April. The government has also stated that it's going to be extended again for another 3 months after this one. So basically within the next 6 months, you can make 2 claims. The next one, which is coming up, is from 1st of April. And then the next one is probably going to be about April, May, June, July, August, around that time, August, September, around that time. So you can also make a claim. If you don't know how to make a claim, by all means speak to an accountant or ring a lawyer up on Justice and Law Solicitors. I'll be able to give you an idea how to make a claim. Because this is money that, you know, you deserve it. We've all gone very through tough times. And also, one thing that I would say is this: whatever goes up must always come down. That is a fact of life. So whatever goes up is going to come down. So all that I say is, if you qualify, by all means, you should also do what? You should also apply and get it. So all that I would say in relation to employment is that also from April, the minimum wage is also going to go up. I don't have the figures right here, but I did talk about it last week. So if you want to know the exact figures, go and play last week's program and we'll be able to get the exact figures. So now, what are we talking about today? What are we talking about today? We are talking about EU settlement scheme and the pre-settlement scheme. Thank you very much, Senior Frank Nagai, for joining us. Thank you for your support, and we appreciate you. Okay, so what are we talking about today? The settlement scheme and the pre-settlement scheme. Let's go back to history. Let's go back to the genesis. 2016, we voted to come out of the European Union. During that time and before that time, we were covered by European law, by way of European Economic Area Immigration Regulation 2016. There were other regulations, 2004, 2000, and so on and so forth, before the 2016 regulations. Okay, so we voted to come out of the European Union because we don't want to be part of the European Economic Union anymore. So when we came out, in any marriage or in any relationship, we cannot just come out without coming to an agreement or without coming to a settlement. So even in this country or anywhere in the world, when 2 people get married and there is a divorce, they have to trash out whatever they have acquired as a family. Who's going to take the kitchen? Who is going to take the bathroom? Who is going to take this money? Who is going to take this house? So we have to settle. And therefore, UK and the European Union had to have series of meetings and negotiations. And through that, we came to the conclusion that there's going to be something called the Withdrawal Agreement. So the Withdrawal Agreement says that then if you are coming out, we have to do it in stages so that things doesn't get messed up for everybody. Because we have to be able to bring certainty. If there's going to be a change, then we have to do it gradually rather than sudden change, because sudden change will not help both parties. Agree? So, Theresa May, our Prime Minister at the time, started the negotiations, and we all know what happened. Forward, backwards. In the end, Boris Johnson came in, and we agreed, or in principle, something called the European Union Withdrawal Agreement. And within the Withdrawal Agreement, UK promised that they will protect the rights of European nationals living in the UK, as well as their family members. We have agreed. European Union, on the other hand, also agreed that any British national living in the European Union and their family members, the rights that they have acquired through membership of the Union will be respected. However, in order for that to happen, we had to put in place certain mechanisms. So in an event that the European law is no longer applying in the UK, those rights can still be what? Can still be maintained, can still be respected. So that was the agreement. And therefore, the UK government came up with something called Appendix EU of the immigration rules. So the rights that the UK government said that they will respect has been incorporated into British immigration law by virtue of Appendix EU of the immigration rules. Fair enough. So because of that, the UK government, since March 2019, decided to officially implement a policy by way of Appendix EU of the immigration rules, whereby the UK government is encouraging all European nationals and their family members to also apply under British immigration laws, immigration rules. And as such, any European national, I'm going to repeat this, any European national who intends to continue to live in the UK and work in the UK must apply for settlement or pre-settlement scheme if the individual has not already applied. So all those people who have applied before March 2019, who have been granted residency card, which is the blue card, or registration certificate, or family members of EU nationals who have applied under European Economic Area Immigration Regulation, that is before 2019, March 2019, must also apply for settlement scheme or pre-settlement scheme. To make it very, very simple to get a better understanding, if you are a European national or a family member and your recognition by way of a visa or registration certificate was issued before March 2019, you should seriously consider applying for settlement scheme or pre-settlement scheme, because the chances are that what you did was to apply under the old law, which is under European law, and we have come out of the European law, and therefore technically it's no longer applicable. And in effect, the visa that you have been given by way of the blue card or the registration certificate, come 1st of July 2020, it will not be recognized in the UK. Do not think that it has been issued by the UK government and therefore that is it. Do not make that mistake. Any European national or their family member who have not put in an application for some sort of leave to reside in the UK from March 2019 up to present, the chances are that the visa that you have applied was issued under the old European Economic Area Immigration Regulation, which is phasing off. It's no longer going to be applicable come 1st of July. My advice to you is do not think that what you have is enough. I keep referring to the Windrush generation. Them I come to this country in the 1960s, 1950s. Them times they thought that they were okay because that was the policy. As time ticks along, as time progresses, time changes. What then happens? Law changes so much that people who would be, looking at your case may not have been born around that time. They will turn around and say, I don't know what you're talking about. Where is your settlement scheme? Where is your pre-settlement scheme? If you're not holding it, I don't care about you. I'm not going to give you your rights. I'm not going to give you any benefit that you are entitled to. It happens to them. Do not let it happen to you. So all that I say to you is this. If you are an European national, a family member of an European national, your visa was issued before March 2019, ask yourself that have you applied under the settlement scheme? If the answer is no, don't waste time. You have between now and 30th of June to apply for settlement scheme or pre-settlement scheme. And the time to do it is now. Do not wait, because time and tide waits for no man. Because you're going to wait and wait and wait before you know it may be too late to apply. Because what the UK government is saying at this stage is that in order to be able to apply after 30th of June, you must have a very good reason as to why you did not apply within this window. And when we say a very good reason, they have been giving examples as to what constitutes a very good reason. So all that I say to you is this. Do not wait until it is too late. Because at the end of the day, come 1st of July, I've said this. We'll be sitting here where someone will ring you and tell you that I am an European national, but I've been arrested by the Home Office and I have been put in detention pending removal to my home country in Italy, Netherlands, Germany, and so on and so forth. All because the individual in question did not bother to apply for pre-settlement scheme or settlement scheme. So all that I say to you is this. If you are watching me, you're a family member, you are European national, and you intend to continue to live and work in the UK, then of course you have the window, which is from now. Today is 27th of March. 27th of March up to 30th of June to put in your application. And you must do so, and you must do so now. Because if not, you're going to find yourself in a pickle. So with that aside, then the next question that people have posed to me is as follows. Lawyer, I have a card, biometric residency permit card, which was issued under European law. And as a result, the card that I have, they've written on it, work permitted, EU family member at the back. And I have applied for the settlement scheme or pre-settlement scheme. However, they have not given me a card. They have sent me an email confirming that my application has been successful under settlement scheme and pre-settlement scheme. Do I still need to apply for a card to reflect my new status? This is $1,000 question that people keep asking. And all that I say is this. whilst technically there is no need, to apply for a card to reflect your settlement status, I have come to the conclusion and the opinion that I think it makes sense to apply as well. Someone may be watching me, the person may be a critic. The person says, yeah, lawyers, because you want money, so that is what you will say. The person, if someone says that, it's not far from the truth. Yes, I want money. Personally, when I see money, it makes me happy. Even if I don't have to use the money. The fact that I see money, it makes me happy. However, the reality is this. If you pay me money, I will also do a good job for you. And I will make sure that potential problems that you may encounter if you don't have the card, those potential problems will be eradicated before even it happens. You see, this is my argument. Because we have precedents, we have examples of cases where people have found themselves in a mess because they are holding residency permit card, which has been issued under European law. And they are holding an email confirmation that says that the application for settlement status has been approved or has been successful. And I know that the confusion is going to get worse. Confusion is going to get worse. Why is it going to get worse? Because if people working within the industry can still not get their head around this logic, how come more that ordinary man on the streets at Clapham Junction will be able to understand the politicking of this card issue? I will show you this. I hope you can see this on the screen. And hopefully you can see the headline. This is what it says. EU settlement scheme doesn't show couple. Well, I'm struggling to read it, but anyway. Okay, let's see. Let me read it. I say, EU settlement scheme doesn't work. Say couple held at airport. I'm not sure how I can do this to make it work. Let's see. No. This is even worse. Okay. Every time I try to show this, there's always a struggle. Okay. It's not gonna work. Okay. Let's see this. Let me bring the camera here and see whether it will work this way. Okay. Would it work? Okay, maybe it will work this way. Okay. If you can see it properly, just give me a hint so that I know that you can read it properly. Okay, I'm seeing from the screen. Oh, still, it's not working. Well, I don't understand this science. Anyway, it is what it is. But all the same, I tried. I tried to show it in a way that maybe it will make sense. EU settlement scheme doesn't work. Say couple held at airport. You know, it doesn't work. And another example is this one here. NHS worker. Let's see if this will work. Hopefully it will work. If it doesn't, forgive me. Another one says NHS worker stuck in Kenya as settled status documents are rejected. You see, people who work within the airline industry, I was expecting them to be able to apply common sense or perhaps get a better understanding how this works. So this is an NHS worker, unfortunately, got stuck at Jomo Kenyatta Airport in Nairobi, Kenya, all because this lady here was holding a card, and the card was issued under European Economic Area Immigration Regulation 2016. You see, the person was holding this card under the regulation. And the person has printed the settlement scheme letter. She went to Jomo Kenya Airport. You went to Kenya for holidays, okay. But on her way back to the UK, she had a card. She had a settlement scheme letter and had a passport. The airport people could not understand why she is holding a card with a picture on it, but the card has been issued under European law. And then she's holding a card that shows that she's got a right to work and live in the UK, issued under Appendix FM of the immigration rules. And the same person have a passport that has been issued by the Kenyan government, Kenyan authorities. So because of that, what they said was that the card that she was holding does not match with the letter, i.e. the email letter that she received from the Home Office confirming her right to work and stay in the UK. On the basis, they cannot allow her to board the aeroplane. Because of that, she was held at the airport. She could not fly back and go to work as expected. So these are some of the madness that is going to happen from 1st of July. So it's for this reason that Lawyer Darko, Justice and Law Solicitors, we have been sending messages to all our people, all our clients, anyone that we have been in contact with, giving them the education, giving them the advice, giving them the opportunity to apply for a settlement scheme card. So that this sort of embarrassment, you don't have to go through this. You know, as we all know, when you go on holidays, you spend all your money. So you can imagine you blow all your cash and then you find yourself in this situation. They don't allow you to board the plane and you have to go back home to your family, to your friends, and tell them that I was not allowed to board the plane. You can imagine the stories that people will formulate against your failure to return back to the United Kingdom. You know, people, they must sit there and gonna say, wow, Boga couldn't go back, or something else happened, Ebia no any paper, Ebia or your drugs, people will spew so many ridiculous theories around to be able to explain why you could not board your plane. Not only that, you're gonna struggle because all the money you sent, you would have blown the cash of the same people, and the same people are going to tease you. The same people gonna chat behind your back. The same people gonna basically finish you. So for me, it is important that you come to me, Justice and Law Solicitors, so that we can apply for a new card for you, so that your card that you're gonna get will be a card that will be issued under under immigration law, and it will also reflect the email that you may have received from the Home Office in respect to the settlement agreement visa. So for me, it is important that you apply. That case aside, we've also had a case. This is a case, someone went to Turkey. Ezgi, she went to Turkey for a holiday. And basically, she was also blocked from getting a flight back from Turkey to the UK. Once again, lack of understanding as to how the settlement scheme works. Because as we know, the difference is that if you are European national and you apply under the settlement scheme or the pre-settlement scheme, they will only give you an email to confirm that you have the right to work in the UK or to stay in the UK. But as an European, you will not be given any biometric residency permit card. You see? So all that you do is to carry out your letter everywhere that you go as an European, so that when you are coming back, you can show it to them together with your European passport, and that will be enough. So all that I say is that all those people who have been issued a visa through their association with an European national, either being a spouse or a family member of an European national, you've got to do what if the visa was issued before March 2019, then it's likely that it has been issued under the old law, which is phasing off. And therefore, I will encourage you today that try and apply for the settlement scheme visa or the pre-settlement scheme visa, either being European or non-European. If you have been granted settlement scheme or pre-settlement scheme and you don't have a card that matches with it, my advice to you, because of what has happened to SG and also the NHS worker, I will encourage you to come and see lawyers like myself, Lawyer Darko, so that we can apply for a card for you that matches with your current status, in order to avoid embarrassment, in order to avoid someone confronting you at the airport or in the planes that you don't have the right to come to the UK, and as a result, I'm going to take you off the plane, because it causes embarrassment, and financially it can also cause you. Because if, for example, you're coming back, the next day you are resuming work, and they stop you from boarding the plane, you are unable to get on the plane, you are unable to go to work, and if you are not careful, these days you could end up losing your job. So it is very, very important that we all do that. We all take the initiative and do what we need to do to move forward with our lives. It's very, very important. So all that I say to you is this: let's do the best that we can and basically apply and, get the necessary card, so that we don't face hardships and difficulties. That's all that I'm gonna say in that respect. Now, we're gonna be looking at the financial requirement. So we're gonna take a quick commercial break. Let's go to our sponsors, and then when we come back, we will continue the program. When we come back, we are going to be looking at people on benefit, and whether they can bring their family members, their children, their spouses or not. It's very, very important that we understand this principle of maintenance, adequate maintenance requirement. It's very, very important that we understand the concept of adequate maintenance. When we hear that we've done it for someone and the person is in the UK, do not be too surprised, because it's doable. It's just that it takes a lot of effort. And sometimes some people cannot be bothered, but we care, so we are bothered. So we will do the best that we can.
And where's the son? Now, what's the son? And where Dania? Now, what's what Dania? Say, Yentra baby, a pack food. What if ye, phone is not yet their bro fee. At this Uber, a pastel, a apps, I will phone to Minia, and one would download app. And you know, the open beer, I was a fresh food, a pack food. I didn't be coffee. And say, I'm afraid maybe I won't be able to. It's one thing, a pack fresh food, the sage, and my breast swatty. I dear Yakuan is what put you up by the what Venasa could China Sayabian, or Banasa Bema. Said yet, I have pack fresh food, I'm a brand of swatty. At the Ghana, the Bena will pay. Say about Green Kuma, I'm going to slap you. Before the project cracker, and answer to phone like soup. Why are you a $2 apple? After an answer place to a restaurant, you don't know one was. And someone never will be a someone north, south, east, west. Access, maybe I will be a debate media bro. We have 3 apps. Number 1, Ayapa fresh food for customers ordering food. 2, Ayapa store for restaurant owners listed their restaurant on Ayapa market platform for third food to be delivered. 3, Ayapa driver for those looking for extra income if they have a car or motorbike. I know what I am again. So one car, and now motor, and now bike, now one landing, now pay extra cash. No, but what the other first number 0203 62 06 129 or 07 884 202 338. Ayapa EYEPA fresh food. Downloading in the Ayapa market, one-stop market, restaurant on
Megafo, we yamaka, wow, what I papa be our Ghana, and so I nam no cry asantino. Who send ya, who bet my mistica, say yes, what you mouth. It's in a paradise city. Ya did this beautiful ultramodern city, Abatema, Community 25, open standard, executive, semi-executive quality buildings. Yenny paradise city, ye will home out. It's as a dear brochure Abagana, ye payment terms, no so, and a phone book call, open a self finance. And as a mortgage, Paradise City. Oh, your telephone number is UK +447 908 475 802. Paradise City. Yejuma pa Magana yefe ankasa.
God has a covenant with you. Therefore, you shall never be put to shame.
Onyeda for how any say and a wusui. Justice and law solicitor said, Bomadiana Brand and your mummy home como, Umbema a futu, Nasay idea so to one more, Umbe no to one more. Immigration and as nationality problems. Say a student application, family independent application. So Pasitina Ukruma and now lawyer Bino Jina one name or court amount, personal injury claims. Say employment, landlord and tenant issue or housing issue, family and divorce issues. Drafting legal document, will writing, renting and leasing shop, lease extension. Open a juicy canon so the mount. And you near Kawakuma to him now how you know to a cap. But what any justice and law solicitors for Nkasa 075-3896-9589 and I say 0207-738-5841. But what for justice and law solicitors na ye kwanya ye be faso ye be wow. Obewo ewo Unit 35 Eurolink Business Center 59 F Road Brixton SW21BZ. Like I said, we have Victoria Line to Bristol Bus 2 337 415 432 689 and 690. See what St. Andrew's Church Pastor Sepa Emra Samudia baby here any justice and law solicitors.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for tuning in and for staying with us. Today, it's important that I talk about this area, and this area in itself is a minefield, and it can be very, very, very confusing at the best of times. But I'll do the best that I can to explain exactly what it is that that we need to do to meet them requirement.
We'll see through the world, but with all possessing self-preservation's comfort, his damnation comes.
Right now, what are we looking at? Adequate maintenance test. Sometimes question that people ask is whether you can actually bring your family member, being your husband, being your wife, a spouse, children to the UK if you are receiving state benefit. And it's something that a lot of people get confused because if you look at the law says that in order to be able to bring your family members, your spouse, your children, you have to be able to demonstrate that you are in a position to provide for them. And in fact, with the application, you will also sign an undertaking, SU07, that confirms that you will be responsible for them once they come to the UK. Then the question therefore is, if you're receiving benefits, you yourself, you need the government help to basically to be able to survive. How can you then apply for someone to come in? So there is always that question mark. I get that. So the question that people have asked, how come it's possible? How can it be possible? It is possible because this country, I always say this, the general law is made, and therefore then you have to look at the exemptions. So the general law is what I just said. You have to be able to provide for yourself and your family members. But all hands are not the same. All noses are not the same. All eyes are not the same. Not all people are not the same. Some people find themselves in valley, and therefore in order to be able to get to the top, they have to work twice as hard. They have to struggle to get to the top. Some people are born at the top, and therefore they don't need to struggle that much. So that is how it is. So the law also makes recognition of scenarios like that, and therefore there are exemptions within the law. So today my interest is to talk about the exemptions and how to be able to satisfy the relevant requirement, to be able to meet the exemptions, to be able to meet the requirement, regarding the financial bit of entry clearance applications, the financial requirements. So we all know that if you want to bring your husband or your wife, if we don't, we should know now. The law says that you have to be, if you like, be working and earning a gross salary of £18,600 to bring your husband or your wife. That's before tax. It also says that if there is a child attached to it, then the first child is £3,600. Subsequent children will be £2,400 each. So, for example, if Layadaka, I am marrying from Ghana. So, say, I got married to someone in Ghana and I want to bring the person over to the UK. The law says that I must be working and my gross salary should be £18,600 before taxes and national insurance. So if that is the case, then we are able to meet the financial requirement, no problem. That is fine. What if the person that I am getting married to has got a child, either with me or maybe with someone else, and they are coming together? If that is the case, then of course the first child, I have to add £3,600 to the £18,600. So you end up getting about 24,200 or 32. No, it's about 18,000 plus. Anyway, you can add it up. I think 22,400. That's the figure that you're supposed to get. So any subsequent child, you add £2,400 to it. So then you get the figure. So if you are working and you are earning that amount, you're able to meet the figures, that is fine. What about those people who are on benefit? The question that people ask all the time is that, so if I'm on benefit, I cannot get married. If I'm on benefit, my children's father cannot join me. If I'm on benefit, my husband, my wife, they cannot join me. That is not fair, and blah, blah, blah. So yes, while it may not be fair, the law also makes certain provisions that people may not be aware of, and therefore the need for me to bring this to the fold, so that people will be aware of this, so that they will not sit down thinking that, that is it for them. There is always way that you just need to search for it. You believe if and only if you can make it happen. So what that we do is this. There are certain benefits that if you are receiving it, then the law basically exempts you from meeting the financial requirement. What are those benefits? Those benefits are what we call the carer's allowance. Carer's allowance is basically given to someone who is caring for a loved one. And the person, the loved one may be someone who is not able to be basically to look after him or herself. And therefore, instead of you working, you are spending all your time looking after a less able person. And as a result, you are unable to work. And in that respect, the government recognizes that, and the government says that in that case, you fall within the exceptions. We have disability living allowance. Maybe you are disabled. Because of that, you cannot work full time to be able to meet the financial requirement. You are in receipt of disability living allowance. In that case, you should be exempted from meeting the financial requirement. And then severe disability allowance, industrial injuries allowance, attendance allowance, personal independent payment allowance, what they call PIP, armed forces independent payment, constant attendance allowance, or police injury pension. If you get any one of these benefits, then that means you don't need to meet the financial requirement of £18,600. Should you decide to bring your daughter, should you decide to bring your spouse, should you decide to bring your son, and so on and so forth, you don't need to meet the financial requirement. However, you should be able to meet the adequate maintenance test. The question therefore is, how do you calculate the adequate maintenance test? Lawyers like us, Justice and Law, we have our own calculator in the office. You come in, we ask specific questions, we get the the information, and the machine will simply calculate it for us as to whether you are able to meet the financial requirement. If you are not able to meet the financial requirement, I will advise you. That's the reason why our success rate is so high. We simply just don't do application. We go forward when we know that we are going to succeed. It is only possible and it's only doable if and only if you put in the effort and you believe. So, how do we do it? When we are doing the calculation for the adequate maintenance test, we look at your net income from your employment. And then we will look at all the benefits that you receive, the amount, including some of these benefits that I have just mentioned, because you must be a recipient of one of these benefits before you be exempted. And once you are exempted, you must meet the adequate maintenance test. So the A part of it, are you exempted from meeting the financial requirement? If the answer is yes, then the next bit is that we need to do the calculations as to whether the amount that you get is equivalent or more than a family of equal size receiving income support in the UK. And therefore, when we take the instructions, we take the information, our machine will tell us whether you qualify or not. So we look at your weekly income. How much did you take a week? And all the benefits that you get, including housing benefits. We will write all the amount and then we will add it up. Once we add it up, we will look at your housing cost. We will take it out, and we will look at your council tax cost. We will take it out per month. Once we've done the calculations, we will break it down into a week. And then whatever is left as a disposable income, we will compare it to a family of equal size in receipt of income support. The reason why you do the analysis, the calculation that way, is that the UK government believes that the amount that is given to people or income support is the minimum that a family of equal size must live on to be able to survive and live a bit of a reasonable life in the UK. So if you are going to bring someone over, then the person you have to be able to show that the amount that you have as a disposable income is more than a family of equal size or is the same as someone on income support. Because anyone receiving income support, generally speaking, most cases or almost all the cases will not pay housing costs, will not pay council tax costs. So it's for that reason that we take the housing cost and the council tax cost from your income that you get. And then once we get that, we compare it to a family of equal size who is British living in the UK. And therefore, if the amount that is left for you as a disposable income is higher or slightly higher or perhaps equal to a family of equal size in receipt of income support, then perhaps, in that scenario, you are able to pass the test under adequate maintenance. So therefore, it does not matter, as to how much the amount is. All that it takes is that for us to be able to do the calculation, make sure of all your income we take into account, and then do the calculation. If you succeed, by all means, we will do the application for you, for your family members to be able to join you in the UK. The area that I will also talk about again is accommodation, adequacy of accommodation. If you are bringing your child, if you are bringing your family member, you need to be able to demonstrate that when the child comes or when the family member comes, there will be somewhere for them to stay, and therefore the burden is on you to prove it. Many times when people say, but I've got only one bedroom, it does not matter about the name, but the content, how much it contains, how big it is, how many people that it can take. That is the key. So therefore, for example, someone can have about 3 bedrooms, but the rooms are so small that it cannot take more than one person. Someone may have 2 bedrooms. The rooms are so huge that it can actually contain about 6 people. So do not use the number as a yardstick to do the measurements. You know, so therefore for me, if you are facing this sort of situation, this sort of problems, get in touch with the one in the field, justice and law solicitors. We will get other professionals involved. They will come to your house, do the measurement, and then draw their own conclusion and write a report under the Housing Act. Because in the Housing Act, it tells us the size of the rooms and the number of people who can actually occupy that particular place. So if you have a surveyor who is able to come in, look at the size, and if the size is big enough to be able to accommodate your child, your spouse, and so on and so forth, they'll be able to do the report, they'll be able to use the report and file the case. And believe me, you will be successful if the report is favorable. So that's all that, once again, I will say about the adequate maintenance, and also to be able to meet the adequacy of your accommodation is very, very, very important. When we say public funds relates to the following. Income-based job seekers allowance is a public fund. Income support is a public fund. Child tax credit is a public fund. Universal credit, working tax credit, a social fund payment, child benefit, housing benefit, council tax benefit, council tax reduction, domestic rate relief for people in Northern Ireland, state pension credit, attendance allowance, severe disability allowance, personal independent payment, carers allowance, disability living allowance, an allocation of local authority housing, local authority homelessness assistance. All these are what? All these are public funds. However, for the purposes of immigration and nationality, the following benefits are not classified as public funds. So if you are watching me today and you have no recourse to public funds restrictions on your visa and you are struggling, some of these benefits you can actually go and claim it. Apply for it and claim it. And these benefits are contribution-based job seekers allowance, incapacity benefit, retirement pension, widow's benefit, and guardian's allowance, and statutory maternity pay. So if you're working somewhere and you have a limited visa with no recourse to public funds, you're gonna have to go and claim some of these monies if you are eligible. Do not be shy. If you deserve it, if you are entitled to it, then of course you must apply for it. One of the ways also to meet the financial requirement is through savings. If you have a savings of £62,500 and it has stayed in your account for about 6 months and you know the source of that funds and it's all legitimate, then of course you can use your savings as well. Self-employers, yes, you can also use your accounts, financial year accounts. You need a minimum of 1 year, and also letters from your accountant and letters from the Inland Revenue by way of SA 300 or SA 302. It goes on and on and on. So do not think it is impossible. It's only impossible, or it's only possible if you put in the effort. So that's what I can say in that respect. Someone will also ask if there are any other means in which you can also meet the financial requirement from non-employment income. When we say income, when you provide a service or you work and you've done investment and you are getting money out on top of what you have invested, then there are means in which you can also use all those income as to meet the financial requirement. So for example, property that you are renting, dividends for a company that you run, maintenance payment from your partner or sponsor partner, former partner, you can also use that. Maternity allowance, bereavement allowance, bereavement payment, and widowed parents allowance. You can use all that. Payments under the War Pension Scheme, the Armed Forces Compensation Scheme, and the Armed Forces Attributable Benefit Scheme. Also maintenance grant, ongoing insurance premiums, ongoing payments from structured legal settlement, ongoing royalty payments. So all these are stuff that you can use to meet the financial requirement. So people should be aware of other means in which the financial requirement can also be met. So we need to be aware of that. Now, we're going to be looking at new update, immigration, new plan for immigration. What our Prime Minister and what you call it, our Home Secretary is saying in respecting the new plan for immigration. Wow. Let me take 2 minutes break. I'm in Fanjima home. Yes, Obi Biara. Well, you see the Biara on Fankan and I said, blessed than 2-4. Let's share the program wherever you are watching us. Thank you very much for tuning in. Let's look at what is coming. The proposal that the Secretary of State is proposing, and this relates to asylum. Right, this is what our Home Secretary is proposing, and critics have looked at it, and all that they are saying is rhetoric. It's just talk, because everything that you are saying is exactly what it is. Nothing has changed. Everything remains the same. And therefore, let's look at what the Secretary of State is proposing. And let's look at how the asylum system works, how it is as we speak to you today. Now, the Home Secretary has made the following proposal. that the immigration rules and asylum is going to be toughened up. They are going to make it so uncomfortable for people who travel through a third country to get to the United Kingdom. Geographically, UK is an island. And when we say an island, it's surrounded by water or surrounded by sea. And as a result, for anyone to travel to the UK, you have to go through another country. Unless, of course, you fly from wherever you are facing persecution direct by plane, non-stop to the UK. And in that case, that may be one of the few exceptions where people can come here and claim asylum without going through a third country. But arguably, most people who comes to the UK to apply for political asylum or asylum of any sort go through third countries such as Belgium and France, because these two countries are the countries that have direct or indirect access straight to the UK. So because of that reason, UK government is arguing that anyone that goes through a third country, such as Belgium, such as France, we will not listen to them. We're just going to take them back straight away on the basis that if they are genuine asylum seekers and they are genuinely fleeing persecution, then they should have claimed asylum when they go to Belgium or or France. And as a result, there is a lot of political jeering and noise being spewed about. However, there is already international law. We call, in short, we call it the Dublin Convention 1 and 2. The Dublin Convention makes it very clear that anyone that goes to another country to apply for an asylum, if they have gone through a third country, then of course, the country of an asylum can return those people back to the country that they first landed. So the agreement is already there, but it's international law and it was part of the European framework. But the UK is now saying that what is already there, we are going to do it. And as a result, people think it's ridiculous that the Home Secretary is even mentioning it. Currently, when people apply for asylum and they are successful, they are given 5 years. Now, the Home Secretary is saying that they are going to create something that they call the safe passage, i.e. those who are genuinely fleeing asylum for one reason or the other. The Home Secretary seems to think that these people will simply come and follow that instructions, that someone is holding a gun, the person is coming to shoot me, the person wants to kill me in my home country, and I have to follow the rules. No. When it comes to survival, human instinct is to do whatever it takes to survive. If it includes, to kill the weak and eat the person's flesh and survive, while it may be against the law, those people who have read law books and people who have gone to the sea and they have got lost in the sea, there was a famous case in the law book, I can't remember the case, whereby the individuals, they have to kill the weakest and eat the flesh of the weak to be able to survive on the sea until rescue came. As barbaric as it may sound, but human nature, when we are in our raw state, we tend to barbarism, we tend to brutality, because that is our nature. But once we come out of our natural raw state, then the civilization kicks in. That is how it is. So all that I say is this. As to whether it's workable or it's not workable, we wait to see. A lot of people have said that it's not going to work, because if someone is fleeing persecution, it's not going to sit there and follow law. They will just run for it, including breaking the law. That is the purpose of asylum. But we wait to see how it's going to go. So what the UK government is now proposing or is saying is this. When the individual applies for an asylum and the person did not go through the approved route, then there is a problem. There's a chance that the person's asylum will be refused or will be sent back to the third country that they landed. So the UK government will then look at one. The first thing that they will look is whether the person's claim is admissible to the UK asylum system. So now we have a situation where the UK government is saying that it's going to bring an approved system. If you are running for your life, you're not going to go through approved. You need to survive. So it's contention. We will see how all this pan out. So at the moment, this is the proposal. If the person has gone through the approved system and the person is admittable, then of course, the individual's case will be looked at. If the person does not go through the system, the permitted system, then of course, in some cases, they're going to reject the person and remove the person straight away without wasting so much time. However, if the person is able to give convincing argument as to perhaps why he was unable to follow the laid down rules, the person may be considered and the person will go through the asylum system. And so we wait to see how this is going to work in practice. But if you ask me, it's ridiculous. It's not going to work. So that is how it is. That's all that I can say in relation to this. If you look at asylum rate and asylum statistics, and you look at the the long wait for an asylum decision, people who have been waiting for asylum decisions, and also asylum applications, people applying for an asylum. I'm going to show you the map because UK government justification is that the asylum applicants is high, blah 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 blah. You know, so much stuff has been said about it. But you know, if you look at the reality, like I said, never allow politicians to do you a favor because they will rule you forever. You know, this is the asylum statistics. Look at the rate. You know, look at the rate. This is here. This is now. You see the year 2020. Look at the number of people who claim asylum. You know, you could see that is one of the lowest times that people have actually applied for asylum in the UK. You know, if you look at the peak, was around the year 2000 and 2001. Those people who are able to read map good, you know, look at the peak right there. You know, you can see this is the peak, and we're looking at 2000 and 2001. And since then, it's just been coming down and coming down and coming down. It's coming down and down and down. So when someone says that the number of people applying for asylum is just too many people, or UK is a small island, it's just too many people in the UK, I would say that is a tosh. That is never true. Because if you look at countries like Germany, countries like Belgium, they are all doing very, very well. And the intake of asylum seekers. So sometimes when people use, you know, figures to justify certain draconian actions, you know, it stands to be scrutinized. And you and I, it's our job to scrutinize it. And if it's wrong, we need to mention and call it out so that people cannot be misinformed. You know, because people form their opinion based on what they see, what they hear. And if it's misinformation, their opinions are going to be misinformed. And when their opinions are misinformed, they do crazy things. They say ridiculous things. And therefore, we need to educate the mind. So that's all that we can say for today. It's nearly 1 o'clock. We are going to be speaking to Paradise City this afternoon. And then after that, we then activate the telephone lines. Nana to four. Next week, we'll be talking about joint ownership. We'll be talking about wills. We'll be talking about the rules of intestacy. It's worth it. It will be worth it. And you must join us next week because it's going to be brutal. Yes, question time. Very soon. We are going to Paradise City. The only company that can bring UK and America to Ghana. Yes, Paradise City, welcome again. Thank you for joining us. Good afternoon to you.
Hello.
Hello. Netise wo ho.
Yami adum pacho boko pa. Pacho swear.
Nyankopon dom ye gina so se abo pope.
That is it.
Yes. Na ene Paradise City, maso ye ho ede na ekoso. Ede na mo ka kire ye because amafo mu die sika de edoso e wo Ghana ho. Wo ka se gota asase mawa, wo ka se ensi da mawa. Wo be ko na enipa ne de ohu esi ne de esi ho. Na wo die mpo eso ye ma wo mpo. Wayi nani ato baabi. Na Paradise City ti na mo so mo bae. Enti ene ede na mo ka kire. Na na dwemo me kire kire baabi a wo bia. Paradise.
Yes. Lawyer. Listen and all cano and I have issues with a Diane Omodisika call back say yes diamond more Sanka into Paradise City. You're shedding say especially people in the diaspora. No benya a dying stress free, no hassle, no nothing. Na ombenya Omodisika. Now, on 1 year a juma for so hard no, we'll get them benefit now, here no. Yeah, very flexible with people. Yet they assist, it's so difficult, especially near Koso. It can be very difficult, but still, life goes on. And I will say it to me, it's not Paradise City. For Anyamasa, 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom, only a discussia, and a very comfortable for one of the bed to me, I understand, now you're calling him. And see, Paradise City, a message I will mark of what you will own more. The dream to own a home in Ghana, no, it's still possible. It's not dead. It's still something that it can and see, say, time. So if you find it out, send you with me and I will hold no more. You bet me no, I am a reality. To Paradise City, a message can no reality straight free, comfortable for you.
Paradise City. Ebia ene ana obidia to hadamo ana wate Paradise City for enka. Na question nko fu busa bebre ne say. Obi frame me oso no de ofri north. Ofri o dagomba ni na o chere me dagomba kakra ene nam de atu mitirim o say yelem party eno kan am de meti me dagomba metiri o mi wi ase ano no ana o say yelem party yes yelem party enti I want to be who say a catcher no went ya I want to be who and tell it any did at the second be a who's the did attempt to start it. Where do I say yellow party? Why you go see, you go smell pepper. And you know, it's a Paradise City for Abano Moka. That's a wenty. Now they'll say, Uji ni pedi, and to discover Kosheni Pansema. A baby if you in school, no? Because Judas, no need Jesus and I'm Uyine mine. Obon sound not done for panning Yankopon. Say, Annie Rea Fintia. No name that heaven. Into Obon Sam Anya Shekra, no heaven that. And a Bible saying I may pamon because no be challenger. So enti nipa susu gini pedi. Enti who discuss ko show bi so di ko show bi nsem. Story say ya ti bebrebe. Na madam for dagomba ni no hwe. O say north. Also so more project ni bi wo ho ana. Na madwiri mu no ene de mekai no. Meka chen say say at the moment ni na wo tema community 25. Every situation na change. Sin changes so ubetimi aka. Na community 25 no be so di mechi ne. O se there be community 25 be any tema. Anam say myself free Ghana that way. O free Ghana 20 years in here. O se no tema. 20 years in here when him say be the community 25. And so no be and so no do what you there. Etu hide there meja na che otie na wa ankasa no obi kan ye if you are over director, if you say the appropriate. And two questions, what do you have to say?
Okay. Mpacho dagom banino American is currently in send our community 25 and society but that chance them might be different but currently community 25 and community 25 our normal thriving very 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 much. It's not far from and yet far from Accra and you're far from airport. New runabout na make transportation movement a very 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 swift location. So very close to many recreational places. Aposombo, very nice areas. Down in now over to me. Just a baby whether it's business and pleasure. On kwala and that's winning kwala a baby when it's meji very 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 comfortable and nice, especially diaspora nice, yeah.
Now, in terms of a dino, with my description and how much it costs, can you say well?
No problem at all. And patrol there were 2, 3, and 4 bedrooms. Your 2-bedroom no go for $55,000. All the house detached houses. We are on a fence, the gate, the compound. Privately. We were kitchen store. Was 2 bedrooms. No, has master bedroom or home. And the individual one is over honor, and there were 3 bedroom near popular one. It goes for $75,000, and all the rooms are cute, who own the same thing. Your 4 walls and your gates and our compound. They are very big to pack about 4 cars. What feedback from some of your project is very very patient. It's open space. Yes, all the houses, and there were 4 bedrooms. So in the end, very, very, very proper. It's $160,000, 2 full plots, all gates, really large compound for if you like your parties and all that stuff. Now, green, new streets now. A very, very good and very, very nice. So the rooms are ensuite, visitors, toilet, kitchen island. I mean, very nice. And a project tends to be one angular. And money is off plan. You can have an input into the internal plans, the paints, the tiles, with the ample amount of tiles. So creativity can go in the project. Yeah, very nice and flexible, I would say.
Okay, thank you very, very, very much. I'm saying price is also the unbeatable, and he said, "Odo numbers so a bit to get amount for any contact details." Now, Obiwa, this is the first time I OT, not at least when your contact details no, so it's me I get in touch.
Pacho you and Pacho and plus 333 011 7724 plus 333 011 7724. Pacho WhatsApp ni mobile plus 44 790 847 5802 plus 44 790 847 5802. At your email, so your info@paradisegh.com. www.paradisegh.com. The website is very flowy for very concrete information. Some of it and so a thank you.
Okay, it's a share comment section. This is why your email address. What do you call it? I said, please, can you explain how to pay for us, please? How to pay for us? What do you mean? And I said, how payment terms, yeah.
Okay, but your payment terms, you will to say a hand say, I will cash self-finance and and mortgages. Self-financing, you have access to a loan maybe in the UK or in the diaspora. Interest rate now also is very good because you have maybe good relationship with the bank now. Now some form of wild savings allows you to purchase it at a relatively less cost, and any advantage you want a home mortgage, so and also with the banks or Ghana, you can have home bank, your bank from a HFC bank, you can have access to them well, and then it now requires a deposit, minimum deposit, 20%, and then the rest. As for self-finance, you have discussion company, we see what is befitting, and then we go forward. Mortgage, is for 15 years for the people in the so we'll be interested that we can have a bit more detailed discussion. So we'll get in touch.
Fantastic. Enti MSA dear obitimi akani no. If you are interested, just pick up the phone, call Paradise City, all the payment terms, any information that you need. They will be able to assist in any way possible. We also the mortgage or deal with mortgage. The bank will also get involved. If the bank, you see, banks, they will not, what do you call it? Give you money to buy something that is not real. You understand? So the bank will also be there to act as your safeguard, as your security, because they also have an interest to protect. Because I know that when it comes to properties, I understand sometimes people are very, very skeptical, you see. But the bank will not be that dumb to put money forward, knowing that it's too much risky. They wouldn't do it. So this is a legitimate business, legitimate company. Who will be able to make sure that you acquire your home. It is not easy, and all that I would say is that if you have money, invest the money. I was listening to Floyd Mayweather just about a week ago, and he said something I will never forget. I said, in life, everyone must do the best that they can to have a share of the earth. When he said that, the person interviewing him was confused. What do you mean? When we say have part of the earth, that means you must have land. If you invest in land and gold, you can never go wrong. So it is important, the little money that we have, let's try and invest it wisely. It breaks my heart to say, someone he just passed on not long ago, about 3 weeks ago. When the person died, the landlord had to call police. When police came, this guy has got £30,000 sitting in his room. Cash. Now the police had to take the money. I don't know what on earth they are going to do with the money. The question therefore is, you are illegal, living in the UK. The question is, how did he acquire the money? And we also know that if you acquire money through criminal enterprise, proceeds of crime, the police have the right to seize the money. The money go back to the state. This person cannot work because he is illegal. How did he obtain the money? How did he get the money? If it is the case that he worked illegally to save that money, then it's a proceeds of crime, and therefore it goes back to the state. If this individual has saved them, invested that money, maybe through a project like Paradise City, at least you would have left something for your children. It's a mistake that our community, they keep doing, they keep repeating it, they keep repeating it, and they keep repeating it. This type of stories, I hear it all the time. The question that I ask myself is, when are we actually going to learn? It is not my money, it pays me, but it's only for 5 minutes, and I move on. But the people that you left behind, they'll be scratching their heads. Every time they remember you, they're going to say that idiot, he left £30,000 for nothing. Someone is coming to take it. So sometimes when we come here and we're saying things, believe in me, the experience, the practicality, things that we see every week, believe me, it does influence the way we think about humanity and human behavior and the way we see life. I have seen a lot, trust me. And the things that I see, sometimes little things that we can do, to make difference in people that we love in their lives. This £30,000, he's got children at school in Ghana. That money could have actually paid for their school fees. That money could have gone some far, to help them. Now this money is gone back to the state. Someone will say bona vacantia. It's gone back to the government. The money is gone. All the sweat, waking up 5 a.m. in the morning, working throughout the night, the risk that a person took. I don't know what else to say. If you are watching me, you should use this as an example how things can go wrong and the need to invest your money wisely. Nobody knows tomorrow. We all never think that we will die, but all that it takes is a split second. Alive today, gone tomorrow. The question therefore is, what have you put behind? What have you done? How are people going to remember you? Because if this person had invested in a project like Paradise City, at least the money is secured. The family members, children, they could have benefited from this. But the decisions that we make, sometimes decisions that we make, £30,000 gone. How long would it take you or I to save that money? I don't know. So sometimes when people come to us and they tell us, oh lawyer, how can we retrieve the money? How are you going to retrieve the money? Because you don't have any legal justification, to be able to do that. And therefore, it's painful. But what can you say? It's a lesson. I hope that someone watching me now, someone watching me today, will listen hard and listen good. And this will be an example for the person to maybe change his way of thinking. That's what we can say. And someone has given us a comment, which is very, very interesting. So yes, there was not Community 25. The Community 25 has been created recently. And, it's part of Efienya. I do remember Efienya Football Club or football, whatever. They came to hoop some time ago. It was during the 1980s. It was one of the tough matches. When they came to the Premier Division in Ghana, they were causing a lot of havoc. They were trashing as Accra House of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Then they would go and lose to the lesser teams. So, yes, I do remember the name Efienya. So basically, Community 25 is Efienya. And now it's called Community 25. And therefore, this explains maybe why the person was confused. Tinipenua, what bumache, why Tiana your paper Nico Fee and who dear Coso. Sana etie. Tibra justice and law said you make sure say Bibiabeko smooth. Now when you drew or no your friend is saying run about dear Coso Hodma when you see the baby, no doubt. Because time I work on and certain you would say there will be so to do Ghana when you see the baby kakra. Then when you say inshallah la rahamadu rasul la, you will gonna get it and you're gonna go. This year is your year. And don't forget, Paradise City, Okososwa, no checking it out. When your baby nice, no your baby do theater. Why? Na brabono ne board ding. Sana etie. Ti Paradise City, Yadamasipi, Yakupon Inshramo. And thank you for your continuous support. And also thank you for featuring, showing Ghanaians some ways in which they can invest. Will be 30,000 when you invest it. We're getting free. I'm a UK government. Ombedini free. It is ana etie. And to share now so who ska be at the baby na say we invest it. Now they also we sum ska no. Obe say lawyer dark. Uhu ska no ani age. You just look at the money and you are happier. One hwe yi adam be bowura wo dem no. Ombeji ska na ko. Me don bowura me dem a omuntimi nje nko. Sana etie. Enti obi obi be ye no memfa wo ho enko company pa no. Aya na obia ne nasem eni ni fi asem eni ne chi asem. Enti na de metimi aka no. Enti Paradise City, Yadamasipi, thank you very much for coming on the show and also giving Ghanaians the opportunity in which they can also go into investment because it's kind of that it be meka very very important. Nemo we invest here dia iba beka ho enti na mesremo pi se wo sika pudro bu da baby na opese invest here. Once you invest in properties you cannot go wrong because as I see the tembia no it increases, property bia no tembia no it increases. Moya fed up na be so be ko Ghana biem kra na ubetimi aton ubenya we sika mpo back ama na broso na enti no this investment here you cannot joke with it. The message will be more ska pudro bi da baby, especially se winning krata. Now the assist can do go as one hwe yi. Ya no be fa na be fele ya da ho a. Me ntimi nye ko to na pana. Enti message will be mon try na you invest wisely. Enti le betimi aka na ene no. Ya ma sipi. Ti Madam Paradise City. So be friend obusa question e koma wa obetimi afre back na wetimi answer ma lipa na ma ya ke be de pa.
You.
Okay, any you be job for now. Now fe na ye bie amatro for natum na afe no. Obi o question bia no or so betimi afre. Now next week may be about property when you are holding the title. This week I know 2 people buying property and their lawyer could not even explain it to them. They came to me, I explained it to them, and I give him very, very sound advice. In the end, both parties are happy. Everyone have to protect their interests. We're going to be talking about joint tenancy in common, and the rule of survivorship. We're going to be talking about all this. We'll also be looking at holding something on trust for the benefit of someone. We're going to be looking at that as well. We'll be looking at will. We've spoken about will various times. When you talk about will, people think, am I going to die? Why are you talking about will? When you mention will, someone say, I will never die. I will say to you today, the only thing guaranteed in life is death. We are all going to die one day. As every day passes by, the number of days that we have on this earth is reduced by 1. We start dying from the very day that we are born. The only thing that is guaranteed in life is death. One day, 6 foot under. I will go, you will go, everyone will go. If you want to go to heaven, you have to be prepared to die. Because on the day of the rapture, only true believers will be raptured. And we all have to die before we see the Father, if you're a religious person. Some say when you die, you die. So we're all going to wait and see until we pass on. We are going to die whether you like it or not. The very day that you are born, you start dying from that day. So please, we have to get comfortable in talking about death. I, Miami will. Now, me real mu de o man say, me wu a, munsie me nkwan chen. Na na tufo nyum na oboy na so bo maame. Na se odofo bi etwam a wakaye ehu se, owu atwede o hoi se na bakofo emfro. Entile adako ye de besia na afi ye bie amatrofo natin na ya take phone calls. Ti Paradise City for yedamase ebesa akase bi. Entino se opesa ofra amanfa ba begusu pi na metini amfa na me hiti na ma charge obetimi ide afre sesia number no eye 0753896958. You can see it right on the screen. Call us, and if you have any question about stuff that we talk about today, or maybe we did not talk about today, we'll be happy to answer it for you. So we are waiting for your telephone calls. Ebi kinso wase ma menwene me ho o diskade kofi ani e blow ama no o konya adaka kra bo no ono mpo de ni 3 yeye onya asase da ho yes the first call by Fana na yen hwede ekoso. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Nam pachodin de se na kase free.
But your mama boot near me, Fefi reading.
Mama good, none of them are ready, and I won't reading. I did you say, Ghana, if any reading, no, I don't know what.
I had buy a better,
so, and yes, you can be. Yan can be, sir. Whether a Kaisa will be a school about Bayism, or by London or Bible to school. You was answer here now, Coy, or so me call Tottenham, me call less sister. Not teaching to say they be in Canada. I'm saying, and I come UK Yankee, no, about your uncle.
Yeah,
Dear lawyer, me that the was the pan with you, my power, and you church my aunt at the hour the prayer. Now, ready for church, our pan, son of Adams, and the four baby are ready for the mechanic because of good in the BPT, ready for you in our church.
Yes, yes, ready for you.
Nah, wait, a paradise for us, Mr. Mikaka.
Ah, Kebby, a bit down.
I may almost a very good pa, offer my time, and no casta church and you pa. Into beer or Tibiano. So, who will be bizarre or how bizarre, yes, Mumfre or Mumbinya would say, actually, Mumu, a choir, Mobile fast one, mobile dine, a choir, fast one, which year, and yes, a wood boom, and yes, a piscanitu and a fabricia, and no crown easy. Now, a boy, my root in how. Why, when I would die, I wonder, because you won't a man and can hear money indeed. And there will be a number of about in the beginning. Who bet you so cast a quarter road and 2 by 10 and 1 by and no one obey this Sargin in a jay. Now, what was so much. Who bet friendly panocrazo and I know where do say no, who bet friend of Nunano. But who discover what the outfriend and Nunano. The sacred cana and one. Oh, Fred is I said, do say, and I do be few. And she said, "Let me have smart dream. I will sign you my way in that one. You come home, no wine. Nayasu, and you ain't. Tikana said another cano. One my bob was Sika Egugum Kunyamuna, with the Babam, if you're up for other time Kunyana question. And Tibu, no one your monka. Now, won't for a cry at the home. Bay and Kratam or be a kama. And first, can she said a yin to Kotoko Bimu. Ma or China be messy. Now say, I mean the mobile lawyer or coach ye. O need me on my what when the can wash and them corner baby. Of course, you're not. You're two or more when you neighbors no any way. No. Oh, I'm Pesicana, also Mubia. Again, I bet.
Koto Bombo.
Ah, what do you mean? And she has some I can order for. My night, and you different on the bed wine and that dear. Sidana, Miss Sidana, minute as a mamma, or put your dear ya brepa, and you come home, or mobile boy, me them and call what I did, but to be for what I would do, dance, or more fine, and you might be a cost to come, and Tintina, then first can marry with you for Emo Ubacon. Now I yes, and no, so to all every, no, it's in the diary. And so now, contribute to Crony, Adiaco Kundi Pano, and they Yenya Aquania, and Tienya's Adian. And the lawyer, Yamisha, Pani, said, yeah, what the trick they make like a Bushel Cooning in an mammy from Penny for no more program is soon now, more Facebook in Amicia.
Yes, so Yejo so pa, Biaso so HL pa, and I yet was CP for your contribution. Ati o se enya fe na okwakotwe nkrante eni kotokuro ese okwakodie because obi adi sikenti enti na we no eye adesua ema ye nyina because enkofo ye diom sika de bebrebe o de ko ne blow cash no o ye de ekoka obi busa Dominic Chere o se lawyer afternoon, how long does appeal court case to be taken decision em said obusa say so the case court how long does it take for the court to make decisions? One or more friends so with me afre mungu so enfre because obijina so ayana a difficult to answer another person. Now Mr. Chere say will answer me be mawnie say case court you are looking at about 1 year gap. And say now unya hearing date and I say judge it takes them about maybe 3 to 4 weeks to make the decision. And so now we need case in our home office have about 3 months to implement the decision. And this is the rough guide that meets me at the amount. Number 7250 Pacho Edru Yanko.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hey, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Bibia Boko here.
Yeah, we are doing Bibia Boko.
Yambe Ase.
And anyone check that we are the mind.
Yeah, that was it.
But you know, a guapa.
Sir.
And yes, you won't craft down. As what to argue. Yeah, I thought we to bound chance. Like a can now, no idea catching no man said that advice be the whole lawyer. To teach here the name chilling me na my question I'm warmer when no area say my share of food and cambesenka me call what I never I mean you bro for someone here only me for exams English exams but I know say I had the no teach you say only to me my exemption based on report from GP or Hasi.
Yeah.
As you say near maybe by any to me. You bet me a hospital na yakwa kwa just lecture be the confirm am an exemption or because what you coming cancer into where to me answer that there's no way I say exam and you'll be pass. Hey, into any pass this an English exams into the Nadia meeting the number. Pinchi mukakra.
Ubetimi na ehun be hia ese report no be I will say a yes solid. So eso mo ye proper assessment.
Yes.
So now omama need the background history. Because we say if you are no the yamkasa same way. So many innocent people are in prison and so many guilty people are outside of prison. Presentation obiwa wonim kasa pa. Kasa wonim kasa ano kasa so. Odi bem okro me convince a lot of people. Emomodwene say odi bem. Odi fo. Ano bi oso a odi fo a ebia we are right. Enso na ebi onim kasa yi. Enti na ana ni nyina begina presentation a doctor na oye ade no. Effort odi bekom. Because home office omo per reporter e very detailed.
Yes.
Enipa no baby aye wo no. Enipa wo no. The educational background, medically, the making it impossible for the person to be able to do the test and pass it. So if me, for example, I'm writing this report, I say, doctor, you need to state any panel, the date of birth, address, location, and the person's place of birth, his educational background in particular. Because for example, they know say Ghana we use English to teach, but certain educational settings so na twi na more because Ghana say unfortunately me time no I don't know how it is now. Uko private school ana na Cambrofu, uko state school normally no Cambrofu kra na mo nshada no so na twi na do so and therefore no such environment usia brofo a ebeye very difficult kakra to obia abia or call private school. And the person have to do this analysis, not in a disparaging way against someone who goes state school, but point it out and say that was the culture. And he said there is a bruni bimpona or I didn't know what Ghana there. Obehu said there was a big difference between the state school and the primary and the private schools. Baby, I said it here, but you need to bring it to the person's attention. Because one yes, and I was you say ni paneso naso niwe, and also naso yineni. Until obetini building it up to the present. And then nipa ni wie ebia say from 4 class when we are just when we ojai school because if you need scan fee into ojai no it's so called market and a cotton near market so there everything is done in the local language. And therefore no ability to speak English is almost zero. The person cannot read and write. And if the person has got any medical issues, you see Ghana the problem is a chroma your friend Yarebi dyslexia. But Obua naturally Onimadi. Obey any day, or Chena very difficult. But Ghana dear, your boy, you're so lazy. Oh, your boy just like that. So and I said you more than crown, Unyane wronger, na ye bro. Recently, Obi sending me audio be. Na me say nipa na anyane de, or send no officer me besere. Akrakito bi o si school dem. Ana omuka say pronounce word bi. Now the child is struggling to pronounce the word. Ana all struggle na teacher na can no struggle teacher na can no struggle. Afe na obi asosirium or class o. Afe teacher me feel say esa wo ye strong. Na ka twom say do omo ye no omo njai. Na ono so siribi. And to feel say what are you doing to their development? What are you doing to their psychology? And to one say akrano obedu nipema once of ade ontimi nkasa. So now so bad to say it really hit me because I had a speech problem when I was young. There were certain words I couldn't pronounce it properly. Yes, people used to tease me but I was able to toughen it up.
Yes.
But when I saw the child struggling and people were teasing him, it reminded me, me of me. Those days, those people were teasing me. Do you think that now they can come and tease me?
No.
And we say, Obinim or Brimpong and Shasi. So, it's again on your attitude now, and you're so wrong. Say, Obi can be, not so Tiani Esreno. Because of that, I can tell you, say, people are so timid in this country. Say, offer phone as a Bruni Casano Ugani. Because a Shana Grim say, or Casano wa Utia, Obigina Honia Probesreno. So, a problem. And yes, between a medical report, but it's got to be done, in a proper manner, in an official manner. Say they are I usually apply for the exemption. And say how it can be done. Why?
Any evidence of the line is why you feel so quick now.
Also obetimi afre number na 07538969589 and then edidi djuma no question bia na also obetimi afre na obisa very very important that we cover all these things and other social aspects. Number 07538969589. Hello, good afternoon. 2871. 2871 and you're ready to the young Conan Kofade Waban. Hello, 0508.
Hello, lawyer.
Hello, good afternoon.
Mr. I'm in the matter bank. I'm in my back. The person may contribute to a cacao.
I need fire.
Now, on top, no, the man can want some effort, papa, a fatal papa.
And you Mr. Sayo, Mungo should
And yes, they say they will show papa where they will find the method.
Me show pension. Maybe everyone is on once you sue me. Oh, but just a minute, I didn't share enough. Me say,
oh, last week, the enemy come and I will see you super.
Oh, so,
papa.
And next week, but who is so bad? See a white.
Hey, and if I go to Mr. They will be because very quiet.
Anyway, you're good. Oh, you're good.
I'm so good, Mama. Now, wait, dear, me lawyer, wait, dear, me the week I can and person between themselves. So I say, and you may be in social media, men quiet, a not say a sardian and a number. Yeah, comparison be Brunia Colai, I would know. It's what Naya massaging. Na mami bi di bibini akola bi a ya wono akodi na to ne na so a the way a mami no esi eni akola na esi se wo bu no kura mi dim. In fact ma we ho na me ya enti me pese sa anyoma na na e dia to status ni ade no enye edidi akem.
Yeah.
Minim say enyo ma bi atwamu bi atwamu a ne eno no cry dey meaning say enye wrong say we be dare obana obabobo ni kotu de ni ade but the omode abetu wo ya ma ni ye dey say only part of the dia we ni bebo sa ade we so we be su na we be ko ama akola na ya wo no ade e de be kwa hodin e na akra na ye ta ama no a ye di we ya betu wa ye dey stresia say ye dey sri lejo say ye nya ye dey ton ye wu say you be the kitchen e ya dey a ye tete me pa enti sa ni o ma no o mo fa me tutu abonten e mo fa seriously ye sa na nye ade a ma me ne ye no so ye bi ni o so ye dey be yo enye kama enye ta na o pese o ba ho ye din a e pese wo ye ye trimodin akola ya wu na o swa peche say down to say the mu ankasa e cha da bis no wa dane ba I know doing that. Was who mammy be out a be that or ye no. A idea taking me out of 4 nibbles and me if I will swap on thing. And my conform, yes, 3 and Uncle Fonso 3 and yet too bad. Yeah. Oh, yeah, minority.
That was CP. Say, let me so be send you will be nice a disparaging. And one was sending it back to the person said, don't send this to me. Me feel says, yeah, fight this idea now. A big jay. So on. And very, very important. I say, be fighting against some of these things. because any people who send their bro, if you say a concert, a joke, so on, but you cannot be laughing at someone's, detriment. It's not good. And as society, I say very careful, especially and perform send this type of negative things, Hello. 2871. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, lawyer.
Now, it is saying.
Me pache.
Number 2 did the send us a free.
Me pache Alfred. Me kata free Birmingham.
Alfred from Birmingham. Alfred, Ediana, if it's me, I'm on every.
Yeah. Me pache status me EU question me. Okay. Now my copper me who can in Bambi and Waba. Omoba 4 years. Now, status me about 8 years in here. And Omoma indefinite leave to remain. And I'm a Hokeni or no Omoma unlimited leave to remain. Now, Columbia and Abaco 21, Nabaco 15, Omomi now, Mamo indefinite to remain. And I'm saying the same this say, they 1 year. This year, Omana say, or make my naturalization.
Okay, naturalization, the rule they say, Hannah, it can get a bit confusing. Naturalization, age over 18. The rule they say, you Patroka, sir.
21.
Okay, the already 21, and on a tricky in the sense to say, you're adult. Now, adult, and just will 6 years. It's my 6 years in Rapepe from time where the bear crew more. When you're indefinite now, as a 1 year ebe can home. And I can understand they say more apply, They jumped it and they give them indefinite, even though no one complete 5 years, That is fine. And my omunya 6 years pepe, do you over 21, over 18, Maninya, my friend is saying 21. Sorry.
Okay.
Maninya, what do you call it?
6 years.
Maninya 6 years.
Only 5 years, no, I could indefinite.
Under normal circumstances, ultra 5 years are animal indefinite.
Yeah.
From what you say, do 4 years, animal indefinite. 85 years in your mind. And to on chain, because I'm running say, when you're indefinite now, 1 year, no apply for naturalization. But this is a case I demand early. And therefore, my 6 years in them running is safe because naturalization will drew one. One back culture so by no 6 years in TM Famano. No be create a problem. And to show my time and I bring Udomio after 6 years just to be safe. Why? Any more better.
But that's it.
Okay, but that's it. Okay, bye. Also betting your friend, you may remember the VSC, the number no, and a digimana, 0753896959. Also, ubitimi idea afre. Question B will be our employment, family law, and immigration and nationality. Also, ubitimi afre amia answer or question idea amount. Enti yeguso trem call. Enchibia edigimadi espeba na wie. Enti no mesre p. Ye so afon no enya de be ye adwuma e be call off because as you use our time no e de ade foforo. Enti no mesre p. Se time no went me and face see ade agise next week. Ana ubitimi idea afre. And you know, you just take about 10 minutes me na yemfa answer omo frɛ ya omantimi anwure mu no yemfa answer omo a course na ema omo and you know say opese ofra by all means you can also call. Okay. Yes, Yemfa Mamia. Also, hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, I want to say.
Nyame Adom me ho de eyepa. Now, most so way.
Nyame adawo ma ye ho yepa.
De nyame ase. Na wi e de na honhom ne ka kira asafo no.
Honhom ne se mo sorry. Na mo fa bu koto dwehu fom. Na mo mpaye. Na Yesu ejina yechi. Watayechi yenya ho din die.
esisi ye da nyame ase
Sir.
na enye nipa nyina na enne abeto echina enye ye dia na lawyer wata de dia mo luku jongo pa
So,
Mr. say why ya de pa ji se ba wona we de ama ye konkura do fie do lawyer na me chia mu nyina me chia na hen kan
yeah,
ene busiafo ni nyina na lawyer obi o ha ya na usuro se telephone na be me se usuro so be kasa so abebisa na se
yeah.
na madam fu bi na si mi musama na oye adwuma ewo warehouse kese pa e packing nuane na ni supervisor na fridge no packing nuane na yo be bi edikoku na supervisor na ya fidie ni no ne ye adwuma na fridge enketenkete na ye di nuane ni bi kumu no
Yeah.
supervisor na high van and what nuane ni what fridge ni na van be fa oton man krofo na Ghana ni no osuro nipa nim kasa ni ntunza brofo na wo kan se yesuro kan supervisor na ka chense on so nkrofo ni no mfa no mani lodungu fridge ngu van ni no so mu CCTV camera da obi bre na manager for no frere na almost wouldn't be a part of fridge nku I don't think supervisor and the catcher no say no catcher was say fridge nku load cook mo load cook wouldn't see o baby so ya pack aye diku na die nti na wodo wonsa so mu a wa load cook mo aye de continue as a plan o ka ho bi nti wa ya adwuma on the supervisor ni nyina ya adwuma for 20 years ya yi Ghana ni nedi yes what didn't say so mo no nti wo ka deals no na lawyer we bibi wo kwa mpacho betimi aye ho biara.
You see, this is sometimes the problem. Who say asem si na wan ka wan semu ya?
Yes.
Na do akwa akoto asem.
Yes.
Nti wan hwe ye do no bo ne kro no kra no ka say ya. Ono betena ho na wo mu ko.
Yes.
So, Cecilia,
yes, 20 years no why adwuma.
We if any aiding and abetting criminal behavior or aiding and abetting offense. And the fact is say CCTV capture no. Yibebusa no say what was he or she doing?
Also supervisor we the supervisor kasa with me kasa to or buana me package no man guvan. Who say no man dey package ku be.
Exactly. And you know no emfa typical example it is say 1946 to 1950 the Nuremberg trial after the Second World War. Germany from so that was the German law. They were just following instructions. And said because if you are doing something that is wrong and it's against the law and it's against morality, regardless of who tells you to do it, you must refuse to do it. You know, and to the fact is said she's been implicated, you know, in something like that, you know, it's going to be very, very difficult because a lot of people will not believe that because you have been given training what to do with such product. Why did you not follow instructions? You have employment contract that sets out your obligations and your rights. And your supervisor can't send your name say, "Hey, you're wrong." Now because supervisor say, "You know, you don't have anything to say." It's very, very difficult because it's a case I don't think say or employment tribunal. He's got no legs to stand on. And speaking about that, someone came to me. And also, so just common water, 500 milliliters of water. Or here, Mama Sainsbury's, about 15 years. Or Koyana Pafano. And we say, Yinedi. Oh, Obisu Yajmo bakery. Bread, Obi a dibi. Or no Dibi Ania Koche. Yakochini Yinedi, you see discrimination. At least you are Bokron, or you soon again, or make sure a camera be anchino. Also, so you are bread, baby, a camera, that one also a cojina.
Now they're coming to Kura say, manager supervisor.
That a young Tom, would you supermarket to come do? I don't understand.
Yes.
So, I am sometimes in Yadia, the uncle to Simbima, or you know what I see. And so, say, Pano, over her on the Hito Benyanano, or the Sida Organo,
or the Sida Organo,
Dianocra, or Dianocra, to be me. No,
Debbie.
Oh, or Tamana, or Naman will charge a pine will. A brother or tin baby of ordinary hiano. No, there's some more question. Yakoboni baby. So, Obiti Krumwa, or we Garianopa, or we Garia, or we Garianumre. Ah, I dear Bengo. Massa, eh? Yeah, oil, and a cholesterol, and a air building up. So, it's yes, someone you did you careful. Biscuit. Ah, here, Obiti me call Brixton here, many to you. Or call shopping, or call and I say chicken, 3 for 5. I don't know how to. I said, and chicken, I had 3 for 5. Ufisa won't you. What took us you now much as a body being an plastic. And so, got try and send an airful. Our breasts are with a organic, but we are 10 pounds. But we see both might means a difference room. A difference. And so, Yenia, a dear for obediently, are we in some good Yamosa? What do you get? Ah, Nasa, I'm what you be a plastic. Because one see it's not proper. Ah, a plastic. You buy it to be a Debbie. Yes. Oh, says the Biaba. And you know, as you educate here, when you're the right thing. Because I never work with you, Yama. You are killing yourself. Yes. Oh no, body parts, you cannot work it. It cannot work. So, and you know, you're very careful. Our you don't see a pisca. But, Debbie, what because I me this week? Or sit dance you, you're the agreeing dancing, yes, can you DC? Yeah. So, and you know, you're careful. Because one thing, Ubu, not after you know, who project happens all your crown. Ubi is so you're careful. You're very careful. My lawyer made the pa dipano, my sending a program not common into TNT made the pa say on one casano. Where do you look stupid, Kaka? But a lesson. So I made they say a tone on all can. Said they say Obisus was had to be any woman. Or the best son can say, Debbie, Matissa same way be that. If you told mammy be a money fair radio, so a man down for me come will be a thing. Say the cosi ye, a sister awareness you want to me one. Not any panel, I chin free sad to be any because I am not your community, no, you didn't mercy. And some pebble boy on can da. Yes. And you know, Yantishi, into Yanshi. Yes, mum say, I say, what two be. Na say, a bonimu no can say a month for tea. A addition, Emma Yenina. Yes. It's your some when you see a condemn of you, but a lesson. I say, Nina. And name him. I'm an age if you were this is so back on him. It's very difficult to get a job. Yes. Because of say Obi Boko no. What we need to so Boko. Lawyer, the penny supervisor no catch you say for way to now so do this from the men. Of course. Obi ya dey say you're wrong. Sometimes the community no we have a problem. Obi ha onim say the npa na any wrong pa. Yes. And so he said on Jintu. Yes. Because Sophie said the person either say he is affiliated to the person or he owes the person until the credit the whole cry now or so and be now because Sophie said allegiance to the supervisor no rather than the company. Until some your company owner. Now say you have allegiance to the individual rather than the company. And me wasting my time, I will kick you out. Yes, a big firm I just say CCTV camera everywhere. Very, very big firm in London. Obia, when Obia open piano, and they call market supply. Into the big place of CCTV camera everywhere. So, I'm for you careful because at the end of the day, no, one you're careful, and say Saki say, it's a call record. So, okay, you more baby, you say, what ain't our year, you mother. Yes. And they want reference. How are you going to give that place as a reference? So, it's one thing you pay. Be allegiance, any favor the kako you be into the ato. Nothing, I'm messing with life. And if you are saying it, I always say this. Do what is right. Dear, Ufi said again the kremu a yes, just do it. Win the favor of God rather than the favor of men. ne krene da wa ka ne di pantan o na mbo onu nya mentem if you have a clean head a clean heart
yes
it's very very important say ye bibia na ye be careful nya the right thing because say adwuma ma ye den okoda se ko yiwadi a oba ya da ho se wodi fo a me tin ye hwe ma it's ye be hwe pi ye nya ahwe say most of the companies they are struggling. They are looking for a way to reduce the number of staff. Enti we de enye obi ne kumu entwi. Buosia ko ana edi ne tiri ekoje akyerema. Companies won penkrofo yi omadi dada. Ana wado ko akode a enye be yi wadi free. Witimi nyo mohwe. Because redundancy, at least they have to give you money to make you redundant. And so the ho kosa de a enye ho na no ombefa kwan bi so ede yi wadi. Enti ebe sremo yenya we eye afutu.
Lawyer me da sipi.
Yes, yeah, that was CP.
That was it.
That was it. Oh, bye-bye. Okay. And you know, yeah, for 2 minutes being come home. Now, I feel now, Obia, Obiti. Hey, Ghana market force, so your church, mo baby, mo bia. You say every Saturday, biano, mo the program, no too much shop ni mu, ama Obia, or your shopping bia. Ehudie ekoso ewo Fair Life Radio any justice and law solicitors ashare enti mo se da masepa ni se mo tune in Wembley northwest of London ni se mo nyina mutie ewo babia enti no sana etie Vim lady ososo afina odi aba ye chiacha babia owo biara sa so na asantoa afia ajekum obin ososo ye chiacha babia owo biara when you say enche bia ye be hu sana etie wahene ba nyameche also baby a will be a church for tuning in mama boat from reading on so edi na fidie na to a watie de ye de abremo ene enyinara mami bedu baby a will be a so ye church madam Kate owusu donko kofi mami ankwangu kofi di anko ni din baby a will be a so ye church eno fosua also baby a will be a church abena amofa nyame enka ho se ene so odi fidie na to a na watie de ye de ebreo Mr. Fred Obri, aka Selina, abrochire no bema krana no dane oba sa netie asemontoa wo se oye guy. Dominic Shere so ye chiachia. When so question so ya answer ma. Tan etie Charles Emery so baby a obi a chiachia Michael Aqua, baby a obi a chiachia and good afternoon to you. Lucy Adama Boat so ye chiachia obi a obiara. Aha, sa na ye no. Atakakra also ye chiao Nana Jomo and Santa Cruz baby am be a church mo sasona amo mensa minim se odo fidie na to anamo St. Anne's yes Ashton LA aka Bolaso ye church am Bolaso LA obi na ye church am nyina because Bolaso LA those who know will know Ato Armstrong also ye church Bismarck Akwesi Adams also baby will be a church Christiana Baden, British accent, baby, I will be a Yachacha, Bua Mensa Victor, also Yachacha, Nana Hima Sapon, baby, I will be a Chacha, Nana Bob, also Yachao, Ajua Odok Mensa, also Yachacha, Eric Kantanka Safo, also Yachacha, Frank Nagai, baby, I will be a Yachacha, Mr. Eshen, also Yami in Shrao, and the Munamasi, Esse and Nesso, Modi Mofidi, no, Ato Hanamo, Namati and Sema, Yede Ebremo, and next week, Mame Georgina Amasa also baby Cheneboa, watching kwa on Bremu was so your church Chrissy Anako also so your church. Next week, Yebeka and some P about property owning. Na aya ne mrepi no oba ene bema anaso bini ni nua obini ne maame ne papa to asase anase omu tofia aya na omadwena ne se ye de ya tofie. Now, what of what are the legal, practicalities? You have to look at that as well. Say whether you are holding the property, the equitable title. If it be equitable title when it comes to property, whether you are owning it under tenancy in common or whether you are owning it under joint tenants. Ni na yebe chrim na ya chire will mu ni na yebe can probate how to apply for probate. Ni na ebe chire mu han mu next week enti no obi abantu de yemfa no nye ka chire 97 at the end. Hello
Oh yeah.
Good afternoon to you. Na pacho din sana ka se free. Okay, Richard, them say o voice no e very low pass and kabiti me aboma ma yakakra o voice no. Aha.
Okay.
Afi na ebe yi na no pay wa kem die. Okay, anything na voice no low sa no. Uwi anu api bibi akem wan. No akasa memem, no akasa memem. Okay, Richard yanko.
Yeah. My question is a person beside say spousal application extension nasa A1 certificate who has also yet another test for B1 and I'll be to A1 now.
Okay. A very good question, Wabusano. Now, the first rule they say udi A1 be rema or kwaji extension. You must have a minimum of A2. A minimum of A2. And a test is valid for only 2 years. And you know, men take any risk. Because as soon as we say a bit will be. Now, on your chronometer, no, not a very nasty. Or the A1 now they apply for extension. Now, unfortunately, I cannot remember the exact year. I'm changing rules, you know, in May 2017, 18 horror. Now, on your chrono, Satan no changing rules, you know. It's a different application, you know. Almost say A1 or the Abano. So your minimum of A2. And your man 14 days. Unprovided A2 certificate. Yes, won't be refused, you know. The passport so no more easy. Passport about test near easy. And it's a quambian of the first one. International an application or they win who be or to our 14 days no more refuse you. At that point, you know, and will be whom ye. Nanyamia dom ye far coin for frosso, and when it me exams without her passport. And ye drew court, not as Okita A2 certificate. Not just a home office case, Ayabasa. And Timestro P A2, and I say B1 no crown of the year. Easy, obey me a pass. Now, on your free honor. Why? No problem. Just here that was it. Richard Birmingham. Bye bye. Okay. I may say, I'm for people goose and I am one. So be fair and a phone calls no to so sa. Enti yenhwe na meet me afre papa yi back na afi no. Yemfa no na yenye na yen rapo me so sa French.
Hello, this is Clement.
Okay. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. Nampachodi de sana kasefre.
Me frame Asari Kasafi Haro.
Asari from Haro. Okay, Asari yonko. E dey na betimi ayamane.
No, I'm patching with 2 questions. I'm missing pieces here.
Sure.
I'm patching me young could be saying question with man. Where from Ghana? Everywhere from Ghana. British everywhere from Ghana. Since 2006, I think. I check a crash about. Bro, the Korean made many lawyer or new actual one school there. That means when you're indefinite from Ghana, they were bro, lawyer, what's me couple for my age, number for yet, lawyer, the king grano, and they must be natural. What in a couple for us, will be our school, and so it's natural. Say, how is it going to get British passport? Because of that, exams in massive way. Stress almost I could find a bounce or a bank room by a young, I will go school. But he said, what is what qualified for British passport? Lawyer, I'll back room since 20 years. I didn't know which guy.
The rules makes exemption, you know. So there's exemption obetimi afaso. Now what the person must do is say firstly, onko hu ni GP. Now the waka nyina no enko record so. So on. Enko record so a nya mata mabam kakra. Ube hu ye ya yebetimi akọ GP ni wo. Akọ busa set of questions. GP ni betimi answer my. O answer my area yebetimi use that as a report to apply for an exemption. Na afi letimi afasa kwan so abo.
Yo GP, I'm sorry, lawyer. Na GP on and dey na for 70 enko bisa no nkoka.
Asma ka chebe won ka the same thing chile no. Men ferry. Whatever you tell the GP, is confidential.
Okay.
And you need something on record. Because you see, as me a GP, no about me ho, also per report. Because one go school, because say any record or so, any evidence here, why should I write it? Unless I do analysis, unless I do a test on you. And a GP, say they don't have time for that. So because they say COVID in the echo because you need time. It's a who here. I say whatever your problem is, is recorded. So it said your GP, uko at some point. Na say and I say me po eko busano. I say I understand that this person is registered at your surgery. I'm aware that this person has not been to the school and that is on record at your surgery. Even though he's able to speak English, but he doesn't have the ability to be able to write blah 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 blah. Then operation the record as well is there. So it's just a matter of doing what? Because when you be uncover ne baka, or find practicing certificate, to church amount.
Okay.
Sana etie.
That's it.
No problem at all.
My second question, Nankasami in particular. But action. This many area at Nakruma, I worry bed 20 years. Nanukrini, me worry no. Nanny sister, and ma, one papa, and baby. And Timmy the Baku and Memba. Sissino, and I'm near Mebano, or about 18 years now. Rami Bow on Nami, first and keep me. If I can't bring natural, she beat me up one day, Quaranaba. A kind of good say birth certificate, which I sent Mrs. Sano at that time. Where Sanky and Copet original, but where I know Granny, yeah, original. And now we are Sanka, a young trainer, where you should even want my. If you want to get to me, and to us with you. Now, and then if you say, a quite multi-sing. Semi cases say the semi dia Koran sir oba. Onyama lady onyama legal sandy, but it's like now 1% of the boam yan. Gone papa na free woman, percent coming wall. I'm a deep back over. But the next time, cut and one and the one marry. In general services, say no lawyer. Before due respect, a queenie Eddie.
Okay. I mean, what we have to know, or you need to realize, say Udobi Ba, right now as I speak to you, Ghana birth certificate is problematic, marriage certificate is problematic, death certificate is problematic. What they call home office say is suspicious. And therefore no, they will demand for a DNA. Say Obinya Uba, the legal way to be able to make the person your child is through an adoption. Under Ghana laws, also, no, if someone is under the age of 18, the person can be adopted by a family member, or the person can be adopted if there is no family member. So the key is that Ghana adoption, there was a time there was issue as to recognition of Ghana adoption in the UK. 2017, I believe 2017, 2016, before say Muhammad Eba be free, so no. Make an application to The Hague so that Ghana can be recognized as one of the Hague Convention countries, which was approved in January 2017. So as I speak to you, since January 2017, Ghana's adoption is recognized under the Hague Convention. Even though Home Office, their guidelines, any notes on website, up to now, update, a two-better list of recognized adoption countries. Now, Ghana is still not on there. Because of that, I took it upon myself and sent an email to the Home Office. Can they confirm that Ghana adoption is now recognized in the UK? In which I got a response. They said yes. And therefore, no, you have to do things in a legal way. You need to go and do legal adoption. So that it's not about trying to, give someone false information. You need to explain that the person is not your child, but the person is an adopted child. You have your adoption certificate, the child's original birth certificate. In that case, once you adopt someone, the person becomes your legal child. And in that respect, the law makes provisions for that under the immigration rules. So that would be the best way to go about this. Don't go through any other means. Do the adoption if the child is under 18, and then bring the child that way. That's the only way that is going to help you. Because any other means, Home Office will demand that you do DNA. And like you said, if it's not your biological child, DNA will prove that it's not your biological child. Application is going to be refused. So you have to...
Lawyer, Bepacho, Martini, I watch and I say, but I even have to say, me application status of me and Ghana, and you do say, me ba. And so
I mean, adoption may not be dependent how it is explained, how it came about. Because in Ghana, there are so many scenarios whereby ubimpo babet na wenchanya, which means say yoba. And they know, say, there are certain terms that we use it loosely. And I will give you an example of a case that we've just done recently. Aprani mamiu onene antineti. But the child refers to the aunt as mother. So through communication with the father, the child keep referring to the auntie as mother, They did an application. Home Office refused the application on the basis that they don't believe say akrane mamiu, because akrane papa de kasana through WhatsApp no, she kept referring to someone as mother. The person came, we have to do an appeal. We went through the court. Successfully, we were able to persuade the judge that this is the case. And the judge is someone who has lived in Ghana before. And he said that yes, he understands, because Ghana, that's how it is. Because of your auntie, Bona Kochechim said, Anthony Bubefu, I don't have a mother. And also, we cry your be age, you cry that because a mother, because on your mother. So, it's not the need to be dependent how it is presented. As I speak to you, I grew up in Ashton for back officer. Or boss me ni enti workers are no more yet, they are confused. I say, hey, what was your force of doors of papa? I don't say I stand the sanity. Hello.
Hey, say,
Nyamiadom.
Who are there? Who can you macro? You ever office one day?
I am struggling to
Yeah, that's fine. You won't.
Okay.
My sister, mama, any master fire, Mr. Wife.
Oh, okay. Okay, we have a call here. Okay, then Yamia. No problem. Why? That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Right. Okay. Also, bet me a friend. 07538969589. So I think it's all down to how things are explained, and you know, the context in which it is used. So context is everything. It's very, very important. I'm saying that we so frappa now. When you are room because of questions now, may try set me answer. And you know, say, oh friend went to me in room. My mom 2 minutes near friend. I feel for you, Medina, Emran away. And yes, I also said, yeah, any not yet you Medina Aban away. Obi a send a message about. I feel a message and I say it's about employment. And me say, or see the manager and I send a supervisor. I use where the beer and me say na and say o use. Where they can be very, very tricky. MSS has my can wahada but mesa can be say obika say due respect a word that in say you use. MS Ghana community ni die ana you feel say okay. But oshe English mu pa dia say obi use the word with due respect didi atem but Ghana for you nim sa de no I say I can't want to say wahada amankofo bebre I come to the realization enti ebeko so aboho dawru next week so yeba share that day ebia saba ayefeni English idioms. There are certain words you don't say it direct but you say it in a different way, in a polished way, but ebia it can be offensive in some way. Typical example ana obidia bay or say ne brother and I say the manager or the obiya bentian fan. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Liar.
Good afternoon to you. Let's say
Patrol, I'm not the more.
Now, can I say free?
If I told me that something lending a friendly Diana Sarah.
Diana Asari. I didn't know.
First time you asked that, and me this our question, 10 on it, I'm on the answer. Oh, I reached out for that.
No problem.
Now, lawyer, but so, yeah, 1 year now, I might pay off for no. So, I say July, will be a best afraid I will blow my last say, will be able to be but
so,
and rock over, I might pay off for it last year, March.
Okay. And now, what is the Adina? What are you worried about? I say ye is now.
Me pacho me, I'm not for say you best afraid in a back say here is one.
Oh, a dream. Okay. You'd want to fail, and I'm a boy.
There be someone I might redundancy pay off.
Okay.
And a company you pay out to my 1 year panogra.
Okay, what's the name?
Many that's so, but man for say be free,
a bit dependent. So, make us say, leave your options open, Juma. So when you be dear, now almost have fall back, you can go and reapply. Because campaign and as a business be honor at the moment, you know, this is what it is. So a jumani wa untimi enkoso entria woka for doing nothing. And to cut their losses, you know, and was me make you be redundant. Tinyame boa na se COVID e free ho na se enema pick it up. They will need people until they will open it up again for people to apply. Until they say mpai bo na ye nyina yebo. I say COVID be free ho no na yetini aye de a start normal life being. Until yes, and to keep an eye by almost won't be you can go and apply again. Why?
Okay, my lawyer, me da see
yes, you can medasi P.
Medasi degree.
Medasi P. Okay, so medasi P.
Okay, medasi baba o.
So okay, so medasi bebrea. We say thank you very many, which is grammatically wrong.
When you cheat, this is somebody. You better register me.
And about 3 o'clock, prepare Fatu Fire Life Radio. Mammy, see a tree caseba. No, about the chair, Cassim, now your tear Cassim. Fire Life Radio on Facebook. Or the Facebook over Fire Life Radio, don't go straight away. Now your Cassim, yes, you. Aha. Okay, so Medasi Bibria. I just said thank you very many. Medasi P means thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Medasi.
P. And I see P. Right. It's a vacation. Bye bye.
And I see you. Right.
Oh, okay. Phone no adrop. Obi ascendi bibia bentu de ma me ansani pa no. Ana ye na yesua de o. Enti no obi ka no a mistake ani correct na ne ekoyenim. Kasa bi te say with due respect, men use is not good. Obeka say with respect, men use enye good because ye what they call cheap brofuma. Obeka say with respect, just say we chire nipa ni bu. But oba brofum pa na ka be say with respect. Opa che say the nipa na ka no rubbish. And I say you cannot agree with what the person is saying. To brofuma sanity. Because of with respect, with due respect, nimi oni nyina no bibia entwaye entina aya ye na yesia me ho se Ghana parliament nyina krofo use sa term no even Supreme Court barristers, they were using those terms, which was wrong. They should not have used those because say who could do Supreme Court, now you are referring to your colleague. Now you use that terminology now in Kenya. But other people don't mean anything bad by it. Only say the interpretation, I say understanding of it. And the money. Hello, Mami 773 open tomorrow.
Sorry.
Oh, no problem. Now, but what did you say? I can say free.
I'm a part of your friend, Christy. I can say free Hartford.
Christy from Hartfield. Christy Yanko.
The partial lawyer. Me minimi free Europe na baha. Ono kita European passport.
Right.
And me buy and ma me 5 years na echi ya ma me indefinite. Na mpacho me pese me ko fa me ma me ba na me si me bisa se me anka se metumi ayi application na ko fa na ba na se a chance me kun ye ma me.
Jese ukunu eye ma and no na the right wall, if you like, the way I ebeboa. Se one kasa ko fa maami aba, unse one kasa no unye European ni. Enti no be treat application under British rules. Now British rules requirement almost impossible. On paper is there. But obey day it be refusal. It me personally case we say ba make a choose masa to agony. Because we could trace scanning in every you make a choose say there is a family member in your home country who could provide care to your mother. And therefore no until that na you refuse. And no say ukunu no ofa ukunu ne anger na be free say ebeboa. And ene nkasa ne ntia se nya adwuma. And the European under settlement agreement, and as a withdrawal agreement, it makes provisions. With me a use a diaquacofa number. Why?
Okay. I'm not chance I made the many can and one also no one to meet it. Maybe no I will.
No, Kunya near Mamun Camu. So I say, Mother so ya worry for Mother so a family, more baby or boy better until we use our anger na ebow.
Okay.
Why?
Okay. Number two, second question. So my buy and my bewu you know how to say. Number two, I'm me to me apply for British passport. My woman say number two, no. I
say, ubet me apply for British passport. I'm a bunny straight away. This is the rules. Say ukita indefinite. Na say uwa. Obano eye British. In that case, ubet me apply for British passport direct. Name say. Uwoy, and later benya indefinite. And no untimi apply for British passport direct. Esa unnaturalize enkrano by way of naturalization or registration. Now when your naturalization certificate, on second we are and let me apply for British passport Emma enkrano.
Okay.
Until now, we should be a man of our Unibedia with justice and law solicitors. Number one.
Never heard of them. Number two, some person me away. I mean, I can't send a frown people appointment as well.
Sir, Pepe, Monday between 9:30 to 5:30. With the officer, it is me a reach appointment amount. Near Cho Nema be here in a day, so we yin. I feel Obuano, Nasa Oba, Yaminti, or Babeka Wonsa, Eddie Asumja Brew. Because I'm not time more bread, papa. Maybe Anna, I feel for you. To me, who bema umu oba. Anna moya misrepa. I war share 9 months.
Enough from cry.
And say na kwakwa, your life is on the line. You can die just like that. And to me, the madi mi buomo pa, especially me mommy, enemy yere mema. I don't joke. If you joke with my mother, trust me. If you joke with my wife, trust me. If you joke with my sisters, trust me. If you joke with any woman, trust me. I will take you on. Yes. And to me, the mother, Emami Bumopa. And yet, that was a I feel my main answer pay question. I am for you, my dear, run away. Papa Ebus, I see the manager, a friend Loon. Now, Loon, no, is it right for a manager? To call a worker a loon. Now the word loon, let me say, it be dependent the relationship only any panel. From what you are saying, personally, I think that the possibly it has been used in a degrading way. You see, that is the way I am seeing it, because I could see that the person is not happy at all. That a manager is is calling him loon. These are things that you don't say at workplace, especially when in any certain type of relationship, because relationship no be okay. And to abia utmi use certain words, it is not seen as a derogatory. And measure p ni na be dependent relationship and any panel. If you are not happy with it, it's not anything. Many people will say you are not happy with the word that he used for you. Abia, you can settle it right there. Abia nipano he didn't mean to be abia a very nasty. Now abia, I don't know. So not omini nastier. You can raise a complaint at workplace. We call it grievance, so that discipline or action can be taken by the managers. what's in your supervisor or your manager, you can go to the human resources or the personal manager and raise a grievance, a complaint, so that it can be looked into. Because calling names is not right, it's not fair, and no one is, above, showing respect to another human being. So I think that, the word that they use, I suspect that the person is trying to say that you are lunatic, and the person have used shorten it to say loon. And no matter how you look at it, it appears to me, it suggests to me that it's not right. You cannot address someone like that. So these are some of the things that, in human relationship, we do use them. But you need to look at the context, the person that you are talking to, and they need to be very, very careful. The words that we use. Words have effect. Words have consequences. And to the mechanic say, you need to, if you are not happy with it, you need to raise a grievance. You need to raise a complaint, internal complaint, so that it can be dealt with. So nipan enya aware, then not nipan aya aware about the impact that it's having on you, and also the fact that you don't like it, so that the person can be informed, the person can be educated, so that the person can stop using those words. That's all that I can say in that respect. And it's here for Mreno Ekonenima Kama. Yedi Jumadiana Eba ne 3 hours 20 minutes or 15 minutes. Yedi Jumadiana Eba ne next week besa BBM. Obu a ofre yentimi amfa mfanche na tam ne soso aso enti ese yekọ yenim. Adwuma bebre egu yeso a ese yekọ ne yekoye. Timidi nyame ejamu nyina. Obi biara wahwere ne bibi, wahwere ne dofo bi fanyumwe ne fa chichire ovre. Elder Odro ene Mrs. Odro. Eti enyumwe ladakon from me to you. This program is brought to you by Justice and Law Solicitors, 35B The Link, 49 Ephra Road, Brixton, London. Our telephone number is 0207 993 5976. Your mobile number is 07538 969 589. You can call us on this number. And I believe Monday to Friday, from 9:30 to 5:30, we'll be able to help you. All your immigration and nationality problems, all your employment problems, all your family problems. If you have any family law issue, if you want to apply for custody or what do you call it? If you want to apply for child arrangement order, if you want to apply for contact order, if you want to apply for custody order, all this, you can ring us, come and see us, and we will do you justice. We believe that through operation of the law, we can always, find justice for you. And we thank you very much for tuning in. We thank you very much for joining us. And I believe that next week, you will join us again. May the Lord Almighty God protect you. May the Lord Almighty God guide you. May the Lord Almighty God bring to your home happiness. May the Lord Almighty God bring you peace. I thank you all for tuning in. And we also thank you very much for your support. The reason being that, the number of people that people have referred to us. I always say this, it beggars, it's unbelievable. Many days, many times, people keep referring the good words that people are putting out there. All that I say is I thank you. And we will do everything that we can to justify any referral that you have made to Justice and Law. As long as we continue to live, as long as we breathe, we will keep working hard for you. We will keep working hard for people that you have referred to us. And we will ensure that any referral that you have made, directly or indirectly, will be justified. And in the end, we can all give glory and praises to the Lord Almighty. Madam CK, wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon to you. We thank you for your support. All those people supporting us directly and indirectly, we thank you and we ask for God's blessings upon your lives, upon your family. We pray that God give you patience, God give you understanding, God give you good health and abundance of riches. May the Lord Almighty God bless you all. We meet again next week. A Jamaican man will say, Dobnado, see ya. Eri Yakopon Jamunina. Ye Fanyumbu is so enchichiri re.
Oh,